Erroneous Podcast. The Erroneous Podcast. The Erroneous Podcast. The Erroneous Podcast. The Erroneous Podcast.
The head ain't low, child is old, they take on. This is the first cicada on the live stream, probably. He's pissed. Nana said that's disgusting, Drifter. Him, the willingness to confess his sins to the Lord and lift him up from that pit of sin that he's been wallowing in.
A mighty sucker punch came flying in from somewhere in the back. Soon as we could see clearly through our big black eye, man, we lit up your world like the 4th of July.
There you go, right there.
Mama told me,
With good quality. Roadkill. Lay off that whiskey and let that cocaine. Lord, I want He said if there was a competition in being super, you would be number one. He said my head's so big right now. What are the odds that Roadkill wants to request this song? That was good.
Disclaimer, the Erroneous Podcast hosted by Jay and Drifter is not responsible for any confusion, frustration, or loss of sanity that may occur as a result of listening. The views expressed by Jay and Drifter on this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the sane and rational members of society, your mother, your boss, your therapist, or that one person who always leaves negative comments on your social media posts. Side effects of listening may include but are not limited to head scratching, shock, awe, sudden urge to run for political office, an increased thirst for knowledge, a sudden urge to argue with strangers, and occasional moments of profound enlightenment. Also, please note that some of the content may be inappropriate for sensitive ears, and listener discretion is advised. Remember folks, it's just a podcast. No actual political experts were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Happy Easter. Whoa.
Welcome to the Erroneous Podcast. You made a right choice with the wrong podcast. Check this creepy shit out.
Man,
That's a robot. We were arguing about this before the show. He thinks
we were.
I think it's a robot.
Look, she does look very robotic. I don't know if this video's been edited, but everybody, you got to admit, that looks pretty fucking robotic. But my question is, like, why would they have a robot out there?
That's a good question. I don't know. They both seem like robotic, but she is definitely more robotic or drugged out. I can't tell, man. That the face is not right. None of their faces are right.
Well, I know the British hate them, and that was during a visit. I mean, obviously, with everyone there. Was that recent? Probably the funeral, right? Or some weird shit.
I don't know. I ran into that video. How's your Easter going?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
How's everybody doing out in the chat?
Yeah, lazy day. But it's a day of rest. It's Sunday. Welcome to the Erroneous Podcast, episode 32.
He is
That's
risen.
crazy. Yes. You know what?
What?
Hasn't risen? Lending in the banks. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to suggest Viagra. That's not going to fix the bank's issues.
Bud Light. Fucking A.
Anti-boner. You already got to worry about whiskey dick.
Man, see, I was worried about the distributors, and I saw a video today that kind of made me sad because they're the ones that's really losing out on that shit. These corporations don't give a fuck. Anyways.
That's a bummer. I hope. I mean, other beverages should come along. People are not going to stop drinking beer. They'll just drink another type of beer. But
it's almost like they're like intentionally targeting the corporations with like bullshit woke narratives.
Almost.
And go woke, go broke.
Yeah. No, so it's explained best. I forget who said it today or yesterday. I can't even remember now, but it's on point. It's exactly this. The banks own all of these companies anyways. So if they want to kamikaze Nike or Bud Light, they don't care. They'll make another company. They'll set up another holding brand that you don't realize is them, and you'll buy that instead. So they don't care. It's
not to get off on the tangent this early in the podcast, because I'm not even supposed to be talking about this right now. But okay, so you have Anheuser-Busch. I was thinking about this earlier today. When they release their quarterlies, how much do you think their sales drop realistically because of this thing?
I don't know. I thought about that. I feel like there's new people drinking it as well, which would be the trans community, the LGBTQ plus IA, whatever at this point community.
I was thinking
from the alphabet community.
Maybe 100 million loss, maybe if that.
I don't know. I was looking at their stock price today. It's down 50 cents. Ooh.
See, it ain't gonna be shit. But Anheuser-Busch is valued in the trillions, I think. So yeah, it's not hurting the corporation. Like they really don't give a shit about this kind of stuff. They really don't. People think they do, but they don't. They don't care.
You know what it is, though? They sell beer. It's piss beer at that, but they sell beer. People don't even pay attention to that. If this proves anything, it's like nobody gives a shit. Stop spending money on advertising. Nobody gives a shit. We're going to drink your piss beer when we need to for beer pong.
That, like I brought up that video earlier that I saw where the dude was like, so I deliver these products to the store and I make a commission based on what they sell. And this is like 30% of my salary, this one or Anheuser-Busch products. So he's like, thank you. Now I won't be able to like feed my family. Like, thank you. Like, isn't that fucked up? Like, it trickles down to the people who are not even involved.
He was blaming Anheuser. He wasn't blaming the people. He was blaming Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, yeah. It's corporate Anheuser-Busch for going along with this, of course. But it doesn't hurt them is the point that I'm making. It's like they don't care.
No, they'll just come up with another beverage down the line. And a new set of distributors will think it's a good idea to form their business lives around that product.
Meanwhile, we got all this crazy shit going on. You want to grab the articles or am I? I don't care.
I'll jump into it. Hope y'all's Easter's was excellent. What do we have And we've got 8 people watching over on Rumble. Nobody's chatting yet. You're welcome to say hi to us. If you would hit the like button, we'd appreciate it. Hey, Jenny, over on Trovo, and Nicole's here, looks like. How are y'all doing tonight? Cool. Lazy Sunday stream. Anyways, let's get into this. U.S. bank lending slumps by most on record in final weeks of March. U.S. bank lending drops dramatically. Bank lending fell by a record of $104.7 billion in the last 2 weeks of March. I don't see it.
Yeah, this graph is kind of confusing. It's just the rate of change. That up top is the one up top. Scroll up a little bit. See that legend? U.S. commercial bank loans and leases. So
Yeah, but
that's
it seems like
the
it's been
amount
all
of change.
high.
Yeah, but that's the amount of change that it's graphing. But it's actually negative change.
Gotcha. Okay. U.S. bank lending contracts contracted by the most. Why did I phrase it like that? U.S. bank lending contracted by the most on record in the last 2 weeks of March, indicating a tightening of credit conditions in the wake of several high-profile bank collapses that risk damaging the economy. Yeah, the credit companies are literally closing people's cards without notice for no reason, and they're also lowering their credit limits
What do you know why?
because tightening.
Well, it has to do with all this reserve currency, dude. People are bailing on the dollar right now
Yeah.
in a massive fucking way.
Yeah. Credit's risky as hell right now.
Like a lot of these top loan companies, are hubbed in certain areas, or they might they may be an American company, but they also know when to like bail when the ship's going down. And unfortunately, that's what's happening right now.
I would consider them sovereign entities at this point anyways. I mean, they care about themselves. They'll move to another company or to another country.
Let me be positive and say, the US dollar is still well above any other currency out there, but they're making okay, so like we're going to get into it later, but like BRICS, for example, makes up 25% of the world's GDP, and America is 24. So like that's fucking nuts. Technically, they have the advantage over us right now. They're going to start trading in yuan, or a digital yuan is what they're working on.
Commercial bank lending dropped nearly $105 billion in 2 weeks and ended March 29th, the most in Federal Reserve data back to 1973. The more than $45 billion decrease in the latest week was primarily due to a drop in loans by small banks. So small banks are giving out loans. Credit cards companies are obviously tightening up, and the pullback is in total lending in the last half of March was broad and included fewer real estate loans as well as commercial and industry loans. Friday's report also that also means that the lifeline for small businesses is dried up, essentially. Like, because I mean, that's where a small business falls back on loans and credit when they need.
Right.
Friday's report also showed commercial bank deposits dropped $64.7 billion in the latest week, marking the 10th straight decrease that mainly reflected a decline at large firms. So commercial banks aren't depositing as much money. What? Or no, wait. They're not companies aren't depositing as much into their banks.
Yeah, so Friday's report showed commercial bank deposits dropped $64.7 billion in the latest week for the 10th straight decrease. Shit.
The slide in lending follows the collapse of several firms, including Silicon Valley and Signature Bank. Economists are closely monitoring the Fed's so-called H8 report, which provides an estimated weekly aggregate balance sheet for all commercial banks in the U.S. to gauge credit conditions. The recent bank failures have complicated the central bank's efforts to reduce inflation without sending the economy into a recession. On Thursday, the American Bankers Association Index of Credit Conditions fell to the lowest level since the onset of the pandemic, indicating bank economists see credit conditions weakening over the next 6 months. As a result, banks are likely to become more cautious about extending credit. The banking crisis has made a recession more likely, according to J.P. Morgan Chase & Co.'s Jamie Dimon. The bank's chief executive officer said in an annual letter that the failures have provoked lots of jitter in the market and will clearly cause some tightening of financial conditions as banks and other lenders become more conservative. So essentially screwing the little guy, because
Yeah.
there's no profit in commercial or in retail lending at the moment.
And if you think about it, it's crazy because, I mean, that's how a bank makes money. It has to, loan out money to you, and you have to pay interest on that money, and that's how they operate, right?
But yeah,
So
they'll still loan money to each other.
right. Well, you have all these corporate buyouts going on with these major banks buying up all these smaller banks. And it wouldn't surprise me, like, if like the fucking Chinese aren't buying up all this debt with like the fucking yuan or something. Like, there's so much
Hey, that should
happening
be trackable. We should probably be looking at that.
because they've been buying up for our debt for years. That's China's long game. China plays the long game.
Oh yeah,
They've been buying up our debt, buying up our land, buying up, all kind of shit.
taking it all.
Damn.
Threat. Well, the dollar became the backbone of
What
the
is
global
this?
economy after World War II because of America's robust.
It's a brick.
Is the United States dollar under threat? Well, the U.S. dollar became the backbone of the global economy after World War II because of America's robust economy, its democracy, and its transparent regulatory systems, which made the nation seem like a safe place for international investors. But now the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have announced plans to develop a new currency. Their goal is to reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar and other Western currencies as well, and protect themselves.
Are y'all shitting yourselves yet? How's everybody doing out there tonight? Are you feeling the weight of this?
France just left China too. They said that they're not following along with the U.S. anymore. Everybody's breaking ties with us. It's all about money, folks. They can talk a big game, whatever.
Yeah, well, Macron needs his ass handed to him. Anyways, but
our government's just going to print more USD.
Here's the thing.
Fuck us till we're completely done.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we're over here destroying ourselves. Meanwhile, we've got the BRICS nations partying. Here's the deal. This feels bad. I feel left out. I feel like if we had a world leader holding hands with these guys right here, circle jerking, that I would feel like I was a part. I was also there, like by proxy. Like it'd feel good to be represented in this gang. And if that representative just so happened to be Donald J. Trump, he'd be the boss of the game, right? He just kind of walks whatever group he ends up in, he ends up running the place. So we would kind of be in charge of the BRICS nations if that were the case. However, at this point in time, that is not the case. That is not the case at all. We are we pick our nose, and so we have to play alone on the playground. And they are all getting together and starting some kind of cool biker club that we are not a part of. I bet they have a cool gang, like hand signs and T-shirts. I'm jealous.
Saudi Arabia bailed on us too.
Yeah, they did. Did you see that high five? Did we get a video of that high five? They were throwing dabs at each other, man. Why can't Biden at least throw dabs? We suck.
Themselves from international pressure. In fact, Brazil and China have already struck a deal to bypass the dollar when paying for trade goods, which is a major milestone in Beijing's long-term plans to establish its own currency, the yuan, as the dominant international currency. So, what will this new currency look like, and what will it mean for the dollar? Well, joining us now is Professor John Quelch from the Miami Herbert Business School at the University of Miami.
This is a good take. Listen.
So the BRICS nations aren't a formal trade bloc. So if they do, in fact, create this new currency, how will it ultimately be used?
So I think what we'd find is that would initially be used in very large transactions that are government-style transactions between two or more of the countries involved. Just to give a little bit of background here, it is the case that the U.S. dollar has a role that is outsized relative to the 24% of world GDP that the U.S. commands. So the U.S. Dollar is involved in almost 90% of all international trade settlements, and around about 60% of foreign currency reserves around the world held by central banks are held in U.S. dollars. So the BRICS nations combined, their GDP is around about 25% of world GDP, vis-a-vis the US now at 24%. And so it's not surprising that these nations collectively are saying, hey, wait a minute, why should our macroeconomic policies and exchange rates be at the mercy of US dollar Federal Reserve?
We get the message.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to play
The other
all that.
countries aren't
Yeah,
playing
that's
our
it.
game anymore. We overplayed our hand, flew too close to the sun. Now we're laughing stocks. This is not cool.
I was thinking the only way to recover from this would be to bring manufacturing back again, like run some hole, bring manufacturing back. And I've seen Joe Biden meeting with a lot of businesses here lately and tweeting out photos of him like on company grounds with like a hard hat and bullshit like that. So maybe he's going to try to do something like that, or unless he just wants to totally, just bankroll us. I don't fucking know. Not bankroll, bankrupt.
Oh no, yeah, it was. I feel like that's what they want to do, but that'd be crazy if because you're right, manufacturing would be great. We also need to start producing a shit ton of oil. We need to fill up our own reserves. We need to fill up everybody's tanks. We need to get oil down to $1.50, $1.25. And we need to make some advances in terms of energy productions. And I mean, I think we all know that there's a lot of really good technology out there for that. But even if we went nuclear or something along those lines, it's time. It's time that we start advancing because everybody else is. And yeah, we kind of need to cocoon ourselves for a little bit and work on ourselves as people, look inward, and maybe come out in a few years and reposition ourselves back as a superpower. Because at the moment, this is embarrassing.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they are like I joke, they print more money. They're really doing that though. They're printing more money, which is bad. It's very bad to do right now. They announced another 500 and something million going towards the defense of this border dispute out there. And that's a. I think they said that they've spent from the start till now. 100 billion, I think, is where we're at. 104, something like that.
Didn't we just need $5 billion for the wall? And they said we can't afford that. That's racist. It's racist and inappropriate. But we're going to spend 500 billion on somebody else's border crisis.
Well, right, and they say that that's the biggest threat to our national security is this dispute with Russia and Ukraine. Meanwhile, we have like fentanyl killing millions of Americans every year, but that's our biggest national threat.
Yeah,
security threat. I don't know. Anyways,
here, check this out. Economist sounds the alarm on the greatest enemy to the U.S. dollar. It's the U.S. Treasury, which is the Federal Reserve, right? The central bank.
Well, that's who's in control of, all the fucking regulation and all the bullshit.
China and Malaysia are now reviving a decades-old proposal to create an Asian monetary fund to reduce dependency on the U.S. dollar. But this isn't an isolated case. All of these countries are are also trying to loosen their dependency on the U.S. So how concerned should we be? Joining us now is the author of Currency Wars, The Making of the Next Global Crisis, Jim Rickards. Jim,
this guy's seen some shit.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I have a map here that shows countries that are looking at the U.S. dollar as not their way forward. Now, you're talking about the difference between a reserve currency and a payment currency, but here are those countries: China, Brazil, Argentina, Saudi Arabia. They have a lot of money. Russia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Chile, and the UAE. Tell me what your take is on this.
Well, first of all of those relationships you're looking at, and there's a long list of them, even some others, Saudi Arabia and China and so forth, they all involve the use of the dollar or not as a payment currency. And let's distinguish between that and a reserve currency. So payment currency is, I want to buy something from you, I tender some currency, it could be almost anything, you agree to accept it, you're confident you give it to somebody else, you give me the goods, I give you the currency. That's a payment currency. And that's what all those deals are about. And it's a big deal. The dollar is being attacked from all sides. People are looking for substitute payment currencies. A reserve currency is a different thing. First of all, that's the savings account, if you will, of a country. Countries don't actually have the currency. It's not as if the People's Bank of China has a stack of $100 bills in the basement. What they do is they buy securities denominated in a currency, mostly denominated in dollars, mostly U.S. Treasury securities. So the key to being reserve currency is, do you have a bond market big enough, liquid enough, with dealers, underwriters, settlement, clearance, derivatives, futures, options, etc., all the things you need, and above all, the rule of law. Do you have that kind of bond market? When you ask that question, there are really only a couple of countries in the world, maybe Germany, Italy, Japan. They're all too small. The U.S. Treasury market, by far, is the only one that qualifies. So here's the issue. If you want to substitute a payment currency, the Saudis buy oil from China and they accept yuan. Russia buys manufactured goods from China and they accept the ruble, etc. That's actually easy to do. You can use baseball cards or bottle caps like we did when we were kids. It's just a way of keeping score. And that is a threat to the dollar. But the bigger threat is there a substitute reserve currency? The short answer is no in the short run. But going back at the keys, you need a rule of law. So the greatest enemy of the dollar as a reserve currency is not all those other countries. It's the U.S. Treasury. Because the U.S. Treasury has weaponized the dollar, frozen the reserves of the Central Bank of Russia, and other countries looking around saying, hey, what if they don't like what I did? What if they don't like one of my policies? Are they going to freeze my reserves? There, if you say, I want to get out of the dollar as a reserve currency, the only really good alternative is gold.
Well, that was a long way to let me know that I need to learn more about how the U.S. dollar works. But at the end of the day, the strength of our dollar lies here in our country, and hopefully our government understands that.
Well, so that's actually really interesting. Essentially, what they're saying is that the U.S. dollar is the only currency that has like a reserve value to it for whatever reason, and without it, the world doesn't have a reserve currency other than gold. And we already know that almost a year and a few months ago now, that Russia switched their currency over. Their ruble is gold back adjacent. It's very close to gold back. I don't know what the stipulations are there, but it is inversely correlated to the U.S. dollar at this point. So the worse we do, the better it is for them, so to say. But
there hasn't been an audit at Fort Knox in decades.
Do you think the gold's in there?
I think there's some gold in there, but I think the majority of it's gone.
Where do you think?
Probably China bought it up. I mean, different central banks. I mean,
our entire existence is to covertly mine minerals and materials for an advanced species that comes by once a year and takes all the gold and diamonds off to unknown lands on this flat plane of existence. Sorry, going too far. Let's get to the next. Let's get into the next economistic.
I just think that's wild. I mean, I know we're not technically gold back, but
not even technically, we're debt backed.
Holy fuck! But like, how has there not been an audit on the gold?
Because they don't have to. That's how. Who's gonna make them? Who watches the Watchmen? You gonna tell them? You gonna go up there and tell them?
That is nuts, man. And it's highly guarded. Like, they don't want whatever's in there. I mean, you could say, well, it's the gold. They're just protecting it. But that's one of the most secure areas in the country.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's insane that they even allowed that entire situation to get set up. But they
Right.
sunk the Titanic and wreaked havoc on our markets. So I guess we just bent to their will.
It's crazy. Like, because we use gold and everything now, it's almost like that. And, they used it for jewelry back in the day, and that was the value of it, like for its beauty. But now it has all these other uses, and it's almost like they knew or something. Like
Right.
that's strange.
Well, we could get into the whole actual history of things and the resets and technologies and whatnot, but because that's gold is wrapped up in all of that, but we don't know that. We're just you're right. We just thought it was jewelry, and technically it is, unless we start using it the way it's meant to. But it's highly conductive. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Works well with mercury. But anyways, this is from Bitcoin.com. Economist Peter Schiff advises get rid of your U.S. dollars now. Warns USD's reserve currency status is in jeopardy. Joke's on you. I don't have any dollars. Economist Peter Schiff has urged people to get rid of their U.S. dollars now, as a growing number of countries have escalated their efforts to reduce their dependency on U.S. and the USD. The dollar's reserve currency status is in jeopardy, as is the American standard of living that depends on it. The best move you can make to mitigate your personal losses is to divest of dollars and dollar-denominated financial assets, he stressed. Get rid of U.S. dollar now, says Peter Schiff. Goldbug and economist Peter Schiff has urged U.S. dollar holders to get rid of their USD now. He tweeted Friday, how much clearer does the writing on the wall need to be? Get rid of your U.S. dollars now, while there's still enough people who still can't read. Right, because if you keep yelling to get rid of your dollars, it's going to be a fucking bank run. And then that's how you collapse the market. So good job.
That's actually, I wanted to bring that point up when that economist brought up how we had frozen all USD in these banks over in Russia. Like, that's an act of war, first of all. Like that's a huge deal, and it affects the people, like not just the companies and the government over in Russia, but it affects just your regular Russian citizen who had. I know it's strange for Americans, but in other countries they hold things like U.S. dollar. That's typical. That it's the world reserve currency, which is what we're talking about right now. Everything that we trade, they take the dollar. Some currencies out there, you don't have that benefit. You have to convert the dollar, then you have to make the deal. So anyway,
Your audio got a little funky there on my end. Hey, Jenny's over on Rumble. How you doing there, Jenny? How's everybody on Rumble doing? We got Tim watching. You hit the like button for us. Mean the world to us. Take a second of your time. Mean the world to us. This tweet was promoted by an article titled Saudi Arabia, Southeast Asian nations swipe left on U.S. dollar dependence, which highlights the mounting efforts by countries in Southeast Asia and the Middle East, particularly Saudi Arabia and ASEAN nations, to reduce their reliance on the U.S. and the dollar. The Turkish Central Bank also recently unveiled measures to ramp up their de-dollarization efforts, Schiff tweeted on Thursday. Guys, here's the thing. I'm just going to throw in a Hail Mary best case scenario situation for us, and that is that we are also going to ditch the U.S. dollar because it's debt backed. It was meant to implode on itself. This is the time. The time is now. The 80 years is up. We're done. It's done. So we all have to get off the dollar. I don't know what's coming next, and I really hope it's this utopian is that a word? Rainbow-backed, gold-backed currency, and not the digital crypto.
It's going to be a digital currency.
Well, the central bank centralized currency is what we should fear. But there's another form of economy that might come down on us that would be really good. So who knows?
I've been talking about that parallel economy for a long time. What, 2 years now? This is when I first heard it.
Well, and you have to bring the current thing to an end before you can start the new one. So if they've got something running on the side right now, I have to imagine they're going to bring it forward any week now, because yeah, we are teetering here.
Not to be all doom, gloom, and despair, but I mean, we're just reporting the financial news. Okay. So,
We didn't do this.
fuck, we'll move
I
on
voted
in a
for
minute.
Trump. I don't know what you want from us. You want better news? Go find it.
Right. Send us the links.
Yeah, send us the links. You can help us
Shit.
find our. You can help us find our news.
What's up next? Shit.
Well, according to the Dales report,
They just quote him. I'd never heard of this organization either.
okay, Donald Trump, China trying to displace the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. In a new message posted on Truth Social, Donald Trump said that China is actively attempting to supplant the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. While the revelation is hardly surprising, it is the latest dig at a reserve currency whose undisputed perch is looking frayed in recent times. I don't know what that means. Here's the quote: China is trying to displace the U.S. dollar as the number one currency throughout the world. Trump is either playing the optics, or he truly is worried. Which do you believe it is? I mean, he's worried.
I think both.
We're all worried.
Yeah.
No?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I talked to some people. I talked to some people recently who don't even watch the news and they don't really pay attention that much. And they were talking about like, should we buy gold? Like, you know, shit like that.
don't you love those people that like just recently tried to check in on what's going on in the world, and they're like, no, let me tell you about all this stuff, and it's just the most basic, most recent news with no substance at all, and you're like, no, buddy, let me tell you some stuff.
Right.
Taking 3 weeks.
This is nuts, man.
Yeah, man, it's the rate at which people are walking headfirst into this nonsense is staggering. This is from Wall Street: Stories Behind Business, Finance, and Money. Status of U.S. dollar as global reserve currency and exchange rates. Slow long-term decline on track, but the Chinese renminbi didn't make any progress at all last year. What? The share of the U.S. dollar as global reserve currency dropped to 58.4% at the end of Q4, according to the IMF's new COFR data. This was the dollar's lowest share of global reserve currency since 1994. Back in 1978, the dollar's share started plunging from around 85% of global exchange reserves as inflation exploded in the U.S. and other central banks got cold feet holding securities denominated in this stuff. In the 1980s, inflation started to come down, but central banks and the rest of the world took a long time to regain confidence in the dollar, and the dollar's share of reserves currency didn't bottom out until 1991 with a share of 46%. Then came the bounce until the euro showed up, which put a stop to the bounce. The chart shows the share of the dollars at the end of each year. So honestly, what that does tell me is that like we're not that far down that we can't recover. There's still a chance.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, like it's like in competition with these other currencies. I mean, the U.S. dollar is still very strong. Don't get me wrong, but the point is, these other like BRICS, they're organizing, and they have successfully set themselves in a position where their economy is bigger than the U.S. GDP, which is a problem. I mean, that means that they're in control right now. So
I would look. Here's the thing: our current administration has no business having any kind of global power or control or weight. So, as much as it pains me to say this, more power to these other countries. I just hope that they're not as corrupt as we were. There we go. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's not like it's so like, oh my gosh, Putin and Xi are super villains. They're gonna kill us all. No, man. It's just like their countries are now positioned over our countries, and it's our fault technically.
Right.
And we just have to hope they don't become supervillains or that they aren't supervillains. And now we're at their mercy. So,
and
whatever.
like, I mean, historically, it's happened before. Of course, like I was listening to something today, and it said that every 100 years, there's generally a replacement of the world's reserve currency, excuse me. But so it's a thing that's happened before, and it's not going to be something that like happens overnight. Like even now, we're just pointing it out that it's happening, and it's like if we don't turn it around, it could eventually lose its position in the world's economy as the top dog. So if they create a digital currency backed by the yuan and trade that way amongst those 5 nations, and plus like Saudi Arabia just got involved, said that it was buying Russian oil. France is going to buy oil from Russia. Just worked out a deal with China too. So Brazil, the second world's biggest economy is Brazil. I didn't realize that, but they're involved. So like they're just successfully in a position where over time they could take over with this digital asset. And according to everything that I've listened to today, that's still in the works. So that's not even a thing yet. So it's kind of all depending on how fast they move. It could be years from now, but I'm just saying it's fucked up.
No, at the rate we've been moving, in a couple of weeks even, there's going to be some big news about. Oh God, man, this makes my head spin. This is nuts. This is a crazy time to be alive. This is not middle ground here. We are definitely at the end of something and at the beginning of something also.
Well, you remember when we covered it, President Xi left Russia and he said that real ominous thing as he was leaving, getting into his limousine. He said, like, next week we're gonna, what was the quote?
Something about like big changes or big
right.
things or,
This is what he was referring to. Like, that man is not bluffing. That's why I'm worried about Taiwan, because he said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So, and they've been running drills. Right. Yeah, we'll cover it later. But, I mean, they've been running drills, practicing, how planes do that in the military to train. They'll fly different routes. And it may be in the middle of the desert, not their real location. But when they actually do get on site, they'll be able to, fly that same route and, be effective, whatever they're targeting. But they're practicing that right now. Like, so, yeah.
Unprecedented times.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., they're trying to arrest an old man for nothing. For nothing. They can't come up with anything, but they're just going to keep doing it. They're going to keep going after him. I don't mean to call him old, but I mean, look, come on. They're harassing him. It's crazy.
That's one of the Republican talking points now. Like, well, apparently Republicans and Democrats are using it, but like, so apparently Republicans don't support old men because we have this, whole outlook on Biden. It's not because he's old, folks. An old person that can speak and walk.
It's because he's not coherent. Yeah, it's the coherency issue. It doesn't matter what his age is. Fetterman was what, like in his early 50s, but the guy came out onto the beginning of a debate and said, "Hello, everybody, and good night." That shows a little bit of, that shows an issue.
One time he went like, "Ugh!" Did you see that clip?
No, but one time his lump grabbed the microphone and started singing karaoke in the middle of the debate. It was really hard to get it to stop. It threw the whole thing off. Look. But no, he's probably passed at this point because I'm pretty sure they're using a clone or an actor to play his part at this point in time. But no, it has nothing to do with his age. We're not agists.
Agreed.
So according to this article from InvestTurf, Congress is investigating FINRA's U3 halt and naked short selling. FINRA is under pressure from Congress as new evidence of fraud emerges. This is just a big bank getting their comeuppance, we hope, right? FINRA corruption, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority is under pressure as new email transcripts emerge, exposing the corruption in the stock market. FINRA currently has multiple lawsuits filed against them for securities fraud in the state of Florida and California. Congress has made an official request to FINRA for the MMTLP blue sheets, and investors are getting the FBI involved. The new email transcripts prove that FINRA was aware of fraud in the security, and the regulator authority allowed it to trade for over a year. This new evidence destroyed trust in FINRA and the SEC, since they're not protecting investors and companies. So, long story short, a regulatory agency, FINRA, which is filled with ex CEOs of banks and hedge funds, right? So they are regulating for us the markets and whatnot. And these guys, they were actively committing fraud, where they were the stuff they were supposed to be regulating. They were turning a blind eye to fraud, securities fraud. And I guess that makes them, what do you call that? Culpable, or, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, but I love how it says that investors are asking why there are bad actors, hedge funds, and market makers on the board. Aren't you fucking?
there you go. It's because that's how the world
It's
works.
obvious. Yeah. You got. I don't know if that's true or not, the way this article was written, but there's no way the investors didn't know that.
I hope that they get what's coming to them on that, though. You know what I mean? Like, that would be really
Yeah.
cool to find out that, like, FINRA, like, they all get the axe, they all go to jail, the whole company gets shut down, or the agency, or whatever.
Right.
But probably not, right? Like, it's probably not what's going to happen.
I wouldn't bet on it.
No, but I would bet on DiCaprio. That's Leonardo DiCaprio, by the way. Ratting out Obama. Holy shit. In entertainment news tonight, in E-News, DiCaprio testifies at rapper's trial that foreign financier wanted to give $30 million to Obama campaign. During testimony in the federal trial of a former rap music artist, actor Leonardo DiCaprio on Monday said that he spoke with a Malaysian financier who talked of spending up to $30 million to support former President Barack Obama in the 2012 election. Prak Israel Praz Michael was who founded the '90s group the Fugees, is on trial for an alleged role in the campaign finance conspiracy that prosecutors say was headed by Low Tack Joe, also known as Joe Low, according to this. What is this? I put this on.
I don't know.
What the fuck is this? This just
Did
got
I
real
add this?
weird. No, I did.
Oh, I was about to say, like, I do not even remember reading this. So he testified that he and Lowe had a 2012 conversation that turned out to be the presidential election in which Obama would go on to defeat Republican Mitt Romney. So it was a casual conversation about what party he was in support of, and I told him what party I was in support of, and he told me that he had a group were making a significant contribution to the Democratic Party. So what's the crime here? Like an overpayment? Like, what are they trying to point out? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't really know. Other than DiCaprio's got a big mouth. Don't ever trust him with your secrets.
Right. And I wasn't even aware there was a trial going on.
So Lowe is accused of right, and who's this former rapper is what I want to know. Lowe is
Right.
accused of embezzling $4.5 billion from Malaysia's state investment fund, which is called 1MDB.
Oh shit.
According to the New York Post, Michael was paid $70 million for his assistance to Lowe, which included lobbying efforts on behalf of the Chinese government. Okay, so now we got the Chinese government involved.
What the fuck? Man.
What are you wrapped up in, DiCaprio?
Right? I'm telling you, China's been playing this long game. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And they got their little tentacles and everything too. Like, I've never heard of this case until now.
I want to know who this rapper is. I wonder if it's Afro Man because of that drug bust. But no, it's not saying it anywhere.
Huh.
It's saying former rappers. All it says. Although the Justice Department claims Lowe and Michael were a team, Lowe is a fugitive, leaving Michael to face the charges. Wow, he bailed. A report in Edge Markets indicated that Lowe has been living in China, of course, and referred to him as a protected asset of the Chinese intelligence service. Oof. Oof.
That's what they always go after. Like if you're living there, they're gonna charge you with some kind of espionage or some kind of shit. They just did that. We covered it. They did that to somebody recently, like in the last week. Fuck, I can't
Have you
remember.
heard of this band, the Fugees?
No,
Fugees?
I haven't.
I haven't either. How does he have his hands on that much money, anyways? Because I mean, doesn't sound like a popular band, so it's not music
Right.
money, I wouldn't think. But then he's offering to pay Obama's campaign $30 million on behalf of China. That's insane.
For what favor is the question? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with Obama selling China all of our manufacturing.
oh shit, they do that song. Wait, is this the right? So the members are Lauryn Hill, Pras, Pras, and Wyclef Jean.
Oh, so they're not that old.
It's saying that, you know that song "Killing Me Softly." It's saying that's them. I know that. Yeah,
Okay. That's a little old.
according to Google. Anyways,
Still 30 million for that hit. One hit.
I bet that track made them a lot of money.
Why is he so invested in who's president too?
Yeah, that's for some kind of favor.
Yeah,
Who
lobbying.
knows what that is?
Check this out from Reuters. McDonald's temporarily shuts U.S. office, prepares layoff notice. Wall Street Journal reports. April 2nd, Burger chain McDonald's Corp. is temporarily closing its U.S. offices this week as it prepares to inform corporate employees about its layoffs as part of a broader company restructuring, the Wall Street Journal reported on Sunday. They finally made the fucking fast food robots.
Yeah, but people are too dumb to remember with the whole $15 minimum wage for McDonald's employees was going on, and everybody was saying this is just going to cause massive layoffs. Well, here you go. Eat it.
There you go. That's your
Fucking
point.
dummies. Like,
In an internal email last week to U.S. employees and some international staff, McDonald's asked them to work from home from Monday through. How do you make burgers from home through Wednesday?
right.
So it can deliver staffing decisions virtually.
They're corporate people too, man. This is offices. So
it is unclear how many employees will be laid off during the week of April 3. We will be communicating key decisions. Okay, so they're going to lay people off. Woo-hoo, and their stock's going to go up. Buy McDonald's. Buy McDonald's stock, not financial advice.
We don't give financial advice. Everything is satire. I'm just looking out for you, Jay. I don't want you to get sued.
Right. Well, that was on the second.
Oh,
one. Let's actually let's see what happened. I'm gonna look up the stock price real quick. I haven't had McDonald's in probably 5 years. I'm gonna lie. Sometimes I crave a double cheeseburger. Let's look at not the 6 month. Let's look at the 5 day.
It's holding steady.
No, hold on. Look. This is so crazy. Wait, where's the second? Look right here. This is the April 2nd area. See how it's low down here? It's at 280. And now look at it. It looks stronger up above 282.
Go to the 1 month.
Layoffs.
I want to see what it is on the 1 month. It's up 8%, right at 8%. It's up 20% on the 6 month. So I mean, it's only up 7. Wow, it's only up 7% on the year. So yeah, they're doing things for market jumps. Recently, like within the last 6 months.
32% on the year. 32% on the year. These layoffs, man, I'm telling you, these companies are profiting off of cutting people's jobs.
Oh yeah. We were just talking about automated burger robots with integrated AI. Watch that be a thing in a few months.
I was going to say,
it seems like we always call it.
Thing, it happened. Walmart sues Capital One to end credit card partnership, according to Bloomberg, which means it's not going to let me read it. No. Walmart Inc. asked federal court to allow it to end its credit card partnership with Capital One Finance Corp., saying the bank has failed to meet critical standards for customer care. I actually have one of those credit cards, and they're right. They suck. I feel that way generally about all credit card companies, though. But yeah, okay. So I don't know what this means for credit card holders in terms of the splitting of that, but they're suing them to break contract.
And I think it has something to do with this whole we're not going to lend out money, increase lending, or nothing like that. And I think Walmart can't afford it right now. I just think that they're using that as an excuse to take them to court to break their contract.
Probably, yeah. That's a good point. That's probably exactly what it is. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of companies wiggling out of agreements like that. This is just a quick tweet. I saw Doge Designer, which is a pretty big account, breaking Tesla to build a new mega factory in Shanghai, China. I mean, so, okay. Texas and China. Go Tesla. I don't know what that's about.
It's just smart, from a business standpoint. Now, Elon's been vocal about this. He's like, China's going after the U.S. dollar. He's tweeted that several times. Most of these billionaires have, except for, the weird ones like Gates and shit. But yeah, everybody knows it. Everybody's, getting rid of their dollars. The people that matter are getting rid of their dollars. That should fucking tell you something.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. I'm going to go get some more coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. EY gets banned from new audit business in Germany. EY just can't get a break. The accounting consulting giant is being sued for $2.7 billion by the administrators of NMC, a London-listed hospital operator it had audited and which went into administration after understating debt by $4 billion. EY is being investigated by the Financial Reporting Council, a British regulator. The firm denies the administrator's claim of negligence. It plans to unshackle an advisory business constrained by its inability to work with audit clients, codenamed Project Everest. It is in doubt amid a rebellion by a group of American partners. And on March 31st, its German arm received the harshest penalty ever meted out by APAS, Germany's accounting watchdog, which included a €500 fine and worse, 2-year ban on auditing new publicly listed clients in the country. This is a financial blow to the firm and even bigger reputational one. What the fuck is this? I don't know what this is, y'all. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to go off. I will go on to something else. This is like 90% of none of these companies even mentioned probably have purpose in our reality. They just exist for the sake of making money. We'd be better off without them. So there's the news. Getting into some tech news. Mark Zuckerberg is, I don't know. So, hey, Drifter, have you used the metaverse?
No.
I haven't either. I'm not even entirely sure how one would, other than
what is it?
Well, so it's Facebook, but Facebook is part of the metaverse, right? So now
I know what it is, but I'm making the point like, what is it? No one knows. Fuck, yeah. What is the metaverse?
Okay, it is, yeah. So that's what I was about to say. It's like I have no fucking idea what it is though, because like you can get apps on your phone from the metaverse, but they're not in VR. But then they have the VR headset, which is also the metaverse.
That Facebook invested years back in this company called Oculus, and I knew there was something going on. Like they're going to incorporate VR somehow. I didn't know if it'd just be for videos on their feed or what the fuck they were going to use it for. But so I just noticed that, and then out of nowhere, when was it when he announced changing the name from Facebook to Meta?
Back during the Zuckerbox incident, end of 2020.
During COVID, pretty much.
Probably like November 2020.
Weird move. I didn't see that coming, and I didn't understand it at the time. So I guess now it's over.
Okay, yeah. So this is the thing. This is from The Street. Facebook.com. Take it or leave it. But Mark Zuckerberg quietly buries the metaverse. The CEO of social media giant Meta has sworn by AI, popularized by the chatbot Chat GPT. Wait, so he's going to use, what is this? There will be no press release, no big announcement, as he would have to acknowledge that he was wrong. But make no mistake, Mark Zuckerberg just buried the metaverse. The metaverse is dead. The metaverse was supposed to be the next big thing for social media tycoon, who in 2021 went so far as to rename his empire, created from Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, Meta platforms. Meta. Simply put, the metaverse is an immersive virtual world in which we are supposed to interact with each other using specialized glasses and virtual reality headsets. It was the future of technology, according to Zuckerberg, whom Tesla CEO Elon Musk dubbed Zuck the 14th in an apparent nod to the French King, or the 14th model of Zuckerberg, because they're all fucking robots.
Yeah.
But Prince Louis the 14th, famous for his hubris and excess. Meta creates a top-level AI team. For those who doubted the company's devotion to the idea, Meta has invested billions of dollars in the massively hyped project, to the chagrin of company shareholders. In 2021 and 2022, Reality Labs, the division housing metaverse projects, recorded a cumulative loss of nearly $24 billion, including $13.7 billion just last year. The losses will ease significantly in coming months because the metaverse is over. Zuckerberg has just held the funeral by turning to the next big shiny thing, namely artificial intelligence. We're creating a new top-level product group at Meta focused on generative AI to turbocharge our work in this area. Zuckerberg said in February 27th post on Facebook. So basically, like they've realized that they can't fix the latency issues with VR by themselves, so they need AI to do it. So now they're turning all their attention to building the AI that's going to build the VR's headset because they can't do it themselves, I think is what's going on here. I feel like that's what's going on. But look, don't make no mistake, Facebook's already got AI. That AI already has the ability to mimic real people. There's real AI acting as real people, fake people that I don't know how you phrase that, but they're not real people, but you'd think they were on Facebook interacting with you. They could be dead. They could have disappeared. They could have been kidnapped. We don't know. Your loved ones could be AI.
So
check in on them using the phone. Yeah.
Year to date, Oculus stock is up 73%.
Is it? Oculus what is
yeah. January the 3rd, they were at $124 a share, and today they closed at $216.
So going from buying or selling just a few products to selling a lot would shoot your stock price up, but Meta would be a different indicator because Facebook already was doing well. So from what I remember, Meta's stock price tanked when they switched their name over.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Facebook, but I guess VR is just a good investment, and people in the tech industry see us moving towards incorporating more VR into our experience.
A lot of people bought Oculus because the Meta universe got rushed out like it did. I would not take that stock price going up as a sign of VR being a good investment. I would let it sit even like another 9 months before I would mess with it.
Right.
But I might be wrong. So this is an article from Political, April 10th. Today's the 9th. Weird. Oh, it's from the EU. Okay. Europe must resist pressure to become America's followers, says Macron. Oh, shit. The great risk Europe faces in getting caught up in the crises that are not ours, French president said in an interview. The great risk Europe faces is getting caught up in crises that are not ours. Aboard Quantum United, France's Air Force One, Europe must reduce its dependency on the United States and avoid getting dragged into a confrontation between China and the U.S. over Taiwan, French President Emmanuel Macron said in an interview on his plane back from a 3-day state visit to China. Speaking with Politico, so he went and hung out in China. Now he's saying, we're going to sit this one out, boys. Okay.
Can you imagine going to China while your country is fucking collapsing? Like all the shit going on over in France right now, and he's like taking a trip. to go meet with the Chinese. That's probably why he's going to meet with the Chinese, and he just told the United States to fuck off. Yeah, look, the EU will be buying Russian oil and natural gas. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
they'll be
inevitable.
buying it through the Saudis too, because for some reason the Saudis are stocking up on way more than they need, and so I think Russia's going to use them as a middleman to keep their I don't know, paperwork low.
I went up to Amarillo on a trip. The gas price when I left was $2.97 here. All right, because the Saudis decreased the amount of what they were releasing this past week. Gas shot up, and there's still one pump around here who still has the old gas who hadn't had to purchase any more yet, and it's still around $2.90 something. But gas went from $2.90, the upper 290s, to right now it's $3.50.
That's crazy.
All because this Saudi announcement.
Like 5 minutes.
They're anticipating, there not being a supply of oil out there like we've been used to getting. And who are we going to buy our oil from? The fucking Russians? Or are we just going to start producing it again ourselves? What do you think?
We need to
Biden will do?
Yeah, okay. I think we just need to wait out another year and a half, and then we'll be able to solve this problem ourselves. But no, we have the oil, we have the production means. We just aren't allowed to use it because of my environment. Get off it. Everybody else is doing it at this point.
But look,
these security.
Right, and these politicians don't give a fuck about the environment. Don't get it twisted. They're strategically doing this because they're indebted to the Chinese right now. Okay, most of them are. I've always said about China, like, they know where the bodies are buried. They do. They're the ones who've been buying up all this debt. We can't just forget about that. Like, our government is indebted to the Chinese.
Yeah, but if it came out that the Chinese, for instance, tried to, kill us all with a virus, which honestly it was the U.S. labs. If we're just being honest about that, it was the U.S. labs, whether it be from China or Ukraine, regardless, we had a hand in it. Our people did, but something like that might put us in a position where we can say, okay, we're breaking even. We're taking anything property wise you own on our side. It's ours now. We'll give it to our people. We don't owe you anything. You don't own anything of ours. We're splitting even, and then that'll call us good for you, causing mass mayhem and destruction across our people.
In this global economy, how do you think BlackRock ends up always getting those contracts?
Good. Well, that's the Hegelian dialectic, where they create a problem, they provide the solution, which is to provide a loan, and in that solution, they get control of. They put in the hooks and levers necessary to seize control of an entire country.
I wonder how we got to the point where every country who means anything is going to this one asset management, fucking firm to basically manage all of their investments.
It's the same. There's a lot of power in providing solutions for crooked people.
And if you look at their board of directors, they're spread out. There's Chinese represented. There's India represented. There's the United States represented, all in the form of, former CEOs of major corporate banks. That's who runs it. It's fucking crazy, man. Anyways.
It's a mafia of its own. It's a banking mafia.
Wow.
Everything has its criminal power structure behind it. The medical industry, the banking industry, the military industry.
Right.
None of it has our best interests in mind.
And it makes sense, just the way society operates. If there's power to be had, somebody's going to claim that power.
That's true. Power exists in a vacuum. Someone's going to take it.
Right. And it's kind of one of the downsides to capitalism. That's one of the reasons why Elon Musk is moving one of his factories over to China. You just can't operate, and he just, made a wild investment with Twitter. Business people are not stupid. They're going to like during a time like this, like I said, Elon's been tweeting about the yuan. He's been tweeting about the U.S. dollar. He's moving his factories over to China, like to successfully operate. Like, fuck.
Meanwhile, his Teslas are blowing up on the highway. So politely fuck that guy. All right. Here,
Yeah,
this
the
one's for
solar
Mr.
pores.
Raleigh in the chat. Mr. Raleigh, by the way, is saying they own all the elites. There's an elite above the elites. There. What did you say earlier? I wanted to call that out. Might be out of context at this point. How you doing, Mr. Raleigh? It's the commie hangout. It's the commie hangout. He was talking about I forget now. Tinder? No. Okay. So this is Justin Trudeau warning graphic language. Another all-timer watches as Trudeau is chased out of Surrey by an angry mob of locals, citizen journalists, dogs, and street kids. Highlights include a woman telling PMJT to take her jab up his ass. Exact date unknown, summer 2021. Okay, well, so this is an old video, but this one's for the Canadians out there. Fuck
Shout
this
out
guy,
Raleigh.
right? We don't like you, Trudeau.
And see, I hate the fucking gall of these people, like with attitudes like him. Obviously, they hate him, and he's doing that political wave. Like,
Yeah.
no, you need to get the hell out of there, dude. Like,
Release the hounds.
they're so fake.
They won't be able to walk down the street when they're done. When they're done trying to destroy us.
True that.
And here we are. Here we are where most major politicians could not take a walk on their own at this point.
Oh no.
It'd be very dangerous for them. Oh, okay. Whoops. Did you?
Wait, what?
Oh, we missed the lady. We got to hear this. Every one of them. Take my jab in your ass. Oh, man. Poor Canadians, man. And that was supposedly 2-3 years ago now at this point. So they've been through a lot.
It's going on all over the world. Distaste for the powers that be in whatever government. Almost in like the majority of at least most civilized countries. People have had enough all over the world. And I'm not advocating for anything crazy at all. I'm just saying, I'm pointing out, what's happening around us.
Yeah, for real. We're definitely not like these people. What the fuck is this, man? Like, I if I've had enough of anything, it's this type of stuff. IOPPD, 18-year-old and juvenile arrested following Island of Palms Beach shooting. Update: an affidavit has been released for Goods Martin's arrest. According to the affidavit, the IOPPD and Charleston County Sheriff's Office were patrolling the area for shooting suspects when they located Goods Martin, who matched the eyewitness description. The police located a Glock 29 handgun in Good Martin's waistband, and Goods Martin admitted being in possession of the firearm. Original story: 2 individuals have been arrested following an April 7th shooting at an Island of Palms Beach. Sean Alexander Goods Martin, 18, was one of the 2 individuals arrested, according to the Isle of Palms Police Department. He is charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. As of 8:45, police have not determined if he was involved in the actual shooting. Police say the second individual is a juvenile whose name has not been released. The shooting at the beach behind sea cabins resulted in 6 victims being injured. All 6 were transported to the Medical University of South Carolina with non-life-threatening injuries. So this guy unloaded on 6 people. Or
Yeah.
6 of them. Who knows?
It was a spring break incident. Apparently, there multiple states looking into how to make spring break safer because, really it's these kids these days. Ain't got no sense about them. It ain't normal. Like, I don't remember having to deal with shit like this when I was young with, like, my group of people. Like, you know what I mean? Just in general. Like, there wasn't violence like this and shit. Like kids just don't know how to act.
No, we were always warned and trained about somebody coming into the school with a weapon, but it never happened. It didn't happen much, if at all, when I was in school. It was just always, we were constantly having it put in our heads that it's going to eventually someone's going to come into your school with, an assault weapon and wreak havoc, and so you need to know how to duck and cover, lock the
So,
doors.
I mean, you had some rare instances, like you had that Austin shooting that happened back in the 60s or 70s from the Watchtower. That was like the first major one that I remember, but it was like a rare thing where it was all over the news for weeks and weeks because nothing like that happens. And then the next one that I remember is Columbine, and that's kind of when it all started.
Right. Yeah, and it's just been a lot. It's been picking up.
Right.
This is breaking. At least 3 people have been shot at Delaware's Christiana Mall. Initial reports are that the shooter is a teenager and still remains at large. The mall is currently shut down, and a reunification site has been set up at the north entrance. So, another teenager gone wild. Joe Biden's home state, right? State.
Yeah. Delaware.
Also, where you're supposed to register an LLC for as a tax haven, but it's neither here nor there in this conversation. What is going on with the teenagers, man? It's not a gun issue. It's never been a gun. It's a mental health issue. It could be the mental health of the parents that are raising these devils that think that this is okay.
Well, they definitely play. They're responsible, for the most part. Because I mean, have you ever seen kids like in the grocery store or something just acting a fool and their parents just letting them do it? Like that shit would not fly when I was growing up.
Exactly. No, you wouldn't even get to that point.
No.
That's not like I don't consider me to have I don't consider myself to have had like good parents, but even then I was a well-behaved kid because there's a line. There's always a line, and the line has just gotten really, really low with this last generation. Like we've gone way too low. Like we're letting 2-year-olds watch rated R movies and stay up all night eating sugar, and it shows.
Yeah. Like real talk. Like if I remember that, like I remember being young enough to remember, like, you want to get up right now? I'll take you to the bathroom if you don't stop right now. Like, I remember that shit. Like, it is like, I don't think I ever had to go out in public. But my parents weren't past it. They would,
Yeah. Or just a look. I mean, just sometimes, just to catch a look and you're done. But nowadays, like there's this video of this 10-year-old little black kid, not the skin color matters, but this little black kid, probably in the hood in this tiny little apartment, fucking, I don't even know what you call it. Spartan kicks his grandma, jumps on top of her, starts beating her on her, and then the other kids jump in, beating up his grandma.
I've been seeing a lot of those jumping videos.
No man in the house, because I mean, if that was my kid, or if I was even like an older brother, I'd be whooping up on that kid so hard he'd never want to do that shit again. No man in the house. So what are you gonna do?
I saw this one girl in Walmart. She got on top of the shelves for like on the plants as you walk in the entrance. Sometimes they'll have like a special. She just got up on that and she started throwing plants everywhere, and the grandma was just standing there like not doing shit.
She was threatening the grandma. She was getting up in this man's face. I think this woman finally walked over there and snatched her up, and the camera went off or something like that. But that's
the lady filming. You could hear her. She was like, if that was my child, I'd have that ass right now." Like she was saying that.
Yeah, seriously, it's hard not to. You see, like a kid disrespect his mom, and it's hard not to be like, "Ma'am, would you like me to? Can I step in here? You want to raise your hand and volunteer?"
Dude, this shit right here is crazy.
Okay, so this is terrifying video when a giant tree falls, almost crushing a crowd of people just off 17th green during the Masters golf tournament in Augustus, Georgia. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. This was during a weather delay. I wonder if somebody cut the tree down or.
No, dude, this is the Augusta Masters, which is a huge event.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is this sabotage, or was that tree just dead?
They may have had a lot of rain, and it was just on the verge, but that's rare.
Yeah, you know who got fired? The groundskeeper.
Right.
You're
Massive
supposed to know
pine tree.
every tree. You're supposed to know every blade of grass.
And what's crazy is for it to fall while they were on that 17th hole, I believe is what it was. I can't remember. But they just happened to be on that hole, and all the people were surrounding the green. Like, and then that thing just, what are the chances? I mean, I'm not trying to say that anything nefarious happened, but I'm just saying, like, what are the chances?
Could have had something to do with the amount of vibration from footsteps.
Yeah.
Knocking over, maybe. Just saying.
Well, all the routes are interconnected. I watched a crazy documentary about it. They all communicate under the ground.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that.
No, via fucking mushroom webbing. Like psilocybin. I'm serious.
You're sounding crazy right now. Do you have any proof? You got a link? You got any
Yes.
receipt?
It's on Netflix. Go watch the documentary. It's the top mushroom person in the world. And it's called
You lost me at mushroom person. What is that supposed to mean? Is it a person
Dude.
that's also a mushroom?
I'm just saying that the plants communicate under the ground.
We've lost him, folks.
Some of y'all out there know what I'm talking about. Y'all have seen that documentary and y'all like, he right though. They do.
Well, we've got 10 people over on Rumble giving us a peep. If you would hit the like button, we'd appreciate it. I won't use the word peep anymore. Happy Easter, by the way. This is an article from MSN.com. Intelligence leak exposes U.S. spying on adversaries and allies. Cool. TV journals. On
It's
Saturday,
called Fantastic Fungi, by the way. I had to. Y'all go check that out. Check that shit out. It'll blow your mind.
I was kind of hoping you'd pull a little bit of it up for us to
Dude,
watch.
it'll probably take our stream down if I do, but it cured his stutter. He stuttered for like fucking 15 years. He ate a bunch of shrooms one night, went up and sat in a tree all night, and when he came down, never stuttered again.
Okay, I'm going to have to try that. On Saturday, as U.S. officials and their foreign allies scrambled to understand how dozens of classified intelligence documents had ended up on the internet, they were stunned and occasionally infuriated at the extraordinary range of detail the files exposed about how the United States spied on friends and foes alike. The documents, which appeared to have come at least in part from the Pentagon, are marked as highly classified, offer tactical information about the war in Ukraine, including the country's combat capabilities. According to one defense official, many of the documents seem to have been prepared over the winter for General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and other senior military officials, but they were available to other U.S. personnel and contract employees with the requisite security clearance. Other documents include analysis from U.S. intelligence agencies about Russia and several other countries, all based on information gleaned from classified sources. The series of detailed briefings and summaries opened a rare window on the inner workings of American espionage. Among other secrets, they appeared to reveal where the CIA had recruited human agents privy to the closed-door conversations of world leaders, eavesdropping that shows a Russian mercenary outfit tried to acquire weapons from a NATO ally to use against Ukraine, and what kind of satellite imagery the United States uses to track Russian forces, including an advanced technology that appears barely, if ever, to have been publicly identified. So,
Dude,
what?
This is straight up propaganda, and it was an intentional leak, strategic. They are full of shit. Most people can't pick up on that, but they are so full of shit. They basically they beefed up their numbers on what they were going to supply. They beefed up their numbers on this leak, showing not troop movement, it said, but strategic things about the military, the supply, all that shit. And then they threw it. They had the fucking nerve to throw in intel that the Russians met with NATO to purchase weapons to attack Ukraine. Come on.
Anytime you see Millie, it's bullshit, but that's a deep level of bullshit. I don't know, man. Look, I gotta go blow my nose. I'm on Soros' son granted frequent access to the White House.
Here it is. I was looking for it. This is from the New York Post. Let's check it out. So, son of Soros scoring easy White House access records show. The son of billionaire George Soros has quietly become a de facto White House ambassador, making at least 14 visits there on behalf of the far left kingmaker since President Joe Biden took office. Records reviewed by the Post show. Alexander Soros, a prolific Democrat fundraiser in his own right, gets dad's money. Who likes to boast about his relationships with world leaders on social media, scored at least a dozen meetings with the White House officials in 2022, according to recently updated White House visitor logs. Soros, 37, also participated in two other confabs where in late 2021, the records show. His latest trip, including the one on December the 1st with then White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, and that's that's the president's right hand man. That's his ear, basically. Everything is routed through that. Excuse me. Who also worked on Biden's presidential campaign, his logs show. So that's just odd, and we'll never know what he was there for, but we know that his dad, funds all these radical Democratic groups, terrorist organizations. He funds, being overthrown all over the world. And he was also literally a person back in the 40s who, like, one of his first jobs was to, like, help, throw the Jews, under the bus where they live. And then him and his buddy would come in and take all their jewelry and shit and sell it. Kind of a fucked up individual. I don't know. Anyways.
Hey, did it say what he was doing going to the White House so much?
No, I was just saying that, like, who knows what he was doing there, but he went there 14 times. There's no telling, what he was doing there, but I feel like his dad can't travel as much. And just as, he met with the chief of staff, which is Biden's, right-hand man, because the Biden administration is not stupid. They don't want the optics of him actually meeting with him.
Yeah.
And maybe they did, but they just didn't log it appropriately. But anyways.
Well, he's Soros's Hunter. So Biden had Hunter do all kinds of shady, nefarious business dealings. Soros has his son do all kinds of business dealings.
And what's crazy is, senior Soros doesn't have very much, long to live. He's old. He's probably in his 90s. So just a matter of age, he don't have long to go. And he's got this individual that's just going to take up right where he left off, and he probably has been training him on all of the tactics that he uses. But odds are this dude's probably just some cokehead like Hunter. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, it's probably true, honestly.
First I've heard about him. Anyways, I'll stop.
I couldn't find a single disaster. I mean, other than just the world in general being a disaster. But I couldn't find an explosion. I couldn't find hurricanes. I guess there's been tornadoes, but they're not. I wouldn't consider them notable.
Well, you do have the assassination out in Russia, which is fucking nuts. I don't know if y'all have heard about that, but
so we played videos about that 2 episodes ago. We are so ahead of the time on that, and now we've got even more video on it, right?
Yeah, you put 2 in there, I think.
Yeah.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, if you want to.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's see where I'm at. Okay. Medical. I'll just play a little bit of this. I think this is the one that's pretty long. So, hold on. It says the rats may be leaving the ship, who whistleblower Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger confirms graphene oxide, toxic metals, and parasites are in the injections.
Oh,
so I'm no fucking doctor, but apparently she is, and she's a whistleblower.
Is that Stu Peters, though?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so do you remember the snake venom, the Watch the Water documentary? By the way, you can search for that on Rumble if you want to know what I'm talking about. I'm not swearing by it. I'm saying watch it. Decide for yourself. But I don't know. I'm kind of trying to figure out if Stu Peters glows or not. But that being said, this is really interesting. I
don't know this dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to trust him because he has a suit on, but he came out of nowhere with his nice set, his really clean cut show, and he's been hard hitting. I don't know how or why or what his deal is. I want to trust him though. I just wanted to point that out.
Welcome back.
Let's see what it
Dr.
says.
Astrid Stuckelberger is a former WHO employee. That's the World Health Organization. Today she's a whistleblower, and today she's here with us. Dr. Stuckelberger spent more than 20 years at the University of Geneva in Switzerland, and she worked as president of the Geneva International Network on Aging. Dr. Stuckelberger was one of the first people to present evidence of severe contaminants contained inside of the mRNA shots, including graphene oxide, parasites, metals, nanocircuitry, radio frequency identification.
What the fuck?
For 5G connectivity.
What do you think about this? Do you think this is bullshit?
No, see, that's the thing. I don't think that anything he's saying is bullshit because I've heard these reports from several other places for over a year and a half now. I have been hearing about the Bluetooth connection to people, like driving by a graveyard and finding all these Bluetooth connections. That's some creepy shit right there. I don't think everyone's buried with their phones. Also, I don't think that's how Bluetooth works, right? But I've never physically myself seen any of this stuff, so I can't verify it. But all of these videos of these Bluetooth connections to people and to graveyards, and like the video of the doctor looking at the vaccine under the microscope and showing this triangular creature standing up out of the liquid. It's very. I mean, you look at all that stuff from all these different sources, and then you get someone like Stu Peters to tell you like boom, 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 boom. I don't, man. It's either a giant psyop or those vaccines are more fucky than we all thought.
Let's see what he says.
I wonder what BBC would say to her as an expert. Dr. Stuckelberger also argues that there's not a single aspect to these injections that is a natural biological material. No, according to Dr. Stuckelberger, it's all synthetic from top to bottom. That has major implications because according to Dr. Stuckelberger, it's also impossible to make a synthetic mRNA. So whatever Pfizer and Moderna made in their labs, she says, couldn't possibly be mRNA in the first place. What would the self-proclaimed mRNA inventors say about that? And what exactly was Pfizer and Moderna putting in these vials? It's a sweeping theory with massive... Tell us about your time at the World Health Organization and what is making you blow the whistle now.
Yes, I've been a scientist my whole life, but I started very early to be interested in the world. How can I help the world? How can I be humanitarian? How can I help humanity? So I did my Master of Science with the Department of Mental Health on differential diagnosis between cultures. And I saw there that every culture is different and that we cannot have a medicine one standard. But after that, I was taken as an expert on aging when I was heading the Swiss research program on aging, multidisciplinary. And then I was again taken as an expert, included as in the ethics review committee for international research. And this also is something that I can bring today to the table as an expertise. How do we choose international research? What is validated or not? What is conflict of interest, etc. And this is where I saw that how every country has to manage its own plan of preparedness. And today, when this happened in January 2020, I got shocked. The first shock was because they were terrorizing people. And this was the first lesson. You calm down people. You say, we don't know yet, but we are investigating. And that's, then I said, what's going on? This is big. It's not just a small little event.
Yeah, so obviously we all know.
I'd drop that link to this particular show if y'all'd like to catch that full interview. But what do you think about that, Jay? I don't know where. It's a really long video. It's like 3 hours long. I'd love to get to the point where she's talking about, as he quoted her. Hang on, let me take this off of full screen. What did he quote her saying? Parasites. What else? So basically pushing the narrative that it's a psyop Shots are not biological. They contain graphene oxide, other toxic metals, and parasites. And they're blatantly, they are weapons, according to this doctor.
Yeah. Plus lucifers, which sounds like Lucifer, but it's.
I was like, "What is?
Yeah.
What did you just say?"
It's this material that makes you glow, so it's for tracking purposes. They had it all figured out. And like I said, I've been hearing about all of this stuff for a while now, so this doesn't surprise or shock me. Hearing it all, that it's all in there, so it's like which conspiracy is correct, and it's like, oh no, it's all of them. Fuck, like oh shit.
Well,
that's a little heavy to know that it's all of that shit, because you've got these parasites. I mean, and I'm sure they all work together in some very convoluted way.
Y'all know we dive into, conspiracy theories. So I don't know. Jay, I feel like he's pretty confident on this. This is the first, well, not the first. Like, I know some other things about mRNA, but like this is the first I've heard about this. And I would ask, like, why would a doctor who worked at the WHO come out and say this kind of stuff if it wasn't true? It's like, why did she just, kill her career right now? Like,
the only thing is it would just have to be verified that she didn't actually ever work for the WHO.
Right.
Beyond that, you're correct. Like, whatever, unless they want us to believe this because it's something else, right? So they put her out as a psyop. Who knows at this point? It's whatever makes the most logical sense is what we have to go with until we can find some voice of truth in all this, and I don't know where that's going to come from.
Well, in other medical news, y'all check this out. According to this expert in the field, the first anti-aging pills to hit shelves by 2028, experts predict as Silicon Valley races to conquer death. Pills that can help a person reverse the effects of aging could be on the market in the next 5 years, according to an expert. Sam Altman, 37, was revealed to have funded biotech startup Retro Bioscience to the tune of $180 million last month. He is the latest in a long line of Silicon Valley billionaires to throw their considerable wealth behind the science of aging. Amazon's Jeff Bezos is reported to have invested $3 billion in life extension startup Altos Labs. PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel invested in the Methuselah Foundation, which has a goal of making 90 the new 50. With all these resources being thrown at curing aging, Andrew Steele, the author of the 2020 book Ageless, A New Science of Getting Older Without Getting Old, believes pills to prevent aging may be on the pharmacy shelves within the next 5 years. What do you think about that?
See, that's tough because I'd want to take them.
Right. 90 is the new 50. Let's say they could successfully do that and make 90 the new 50. Would you?
I feel like I would.
Yeah, I feel like most people would. If it really worked and everybody could see the effects, I feel like most people would be doing it.
That's tough. That's tough, but like also like seeing the effects of long term, like, is this person gonna like spontaneously combust in 10 years because they've been taking these pills, or you know what I mean? I don't want to be the first guinea pig, but I also don't want to live my whole life waiting for somebody else to be the guinea pig either. So I don't know.
Right. Well, here's some crazy shit out of Arkansas. This is how y'all do in Arkansas. If we got any Arkansas listeners out there, like, this is wild. So this dude gave no shit as a tornado rolled through his neighborhood. He stood on his front porch and filmed the whole thing. Watch this. Watch your audio if you're listening with headphones, because I don't know how loud this is going to be, but check this shit out. I feel like I should back that up. Like, look at that. For the anybody listening out there, so yeah, he just filmed it. Now the trees are falling on his vehicles.
Wow.
Watch what he says at the end.
Pretty jacked up.
That was pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
That's good.
Fucking Arkansas. But that was a crazy video. I feel like that if that wall wasn't right there to his left, he'd probably be dead. And this one meteorologist, somebody had tagged him in it. They were like, hey, John Doe, the meteorologist, have you seen this video? And he commented, he was like, yeah, and I'm disgusted. Like, never do that. Like, it pissed the meteorologist off.
Wow.
Yep.
Because it's not safe?
Right. You're supposed to be in a small windowless interior room.
I mean, I guess, but like also standing out in the middle of the street is another way to do things.
Oh, shit. Like, look at this.
I want to talk about Nazis. Please tell me to talk about Nazis.
Yeah, we are. We're going to offend probably half of our audience right now.
Let's go. Offend. Hey, before we offend you, will you hit the like button? I saw that we have 8 people over on Rumble. If you're the type of person that shares stuff out, share this out. We would love it if you'd share the stream out. It would mean the world to us. So with the like button. It's Easter.
Anyways.
Give us an Easter present.
Yeah, check this out. Happy Easter, folks.
On our search for the facts, we learned one thing for certain. Today, there are Nazis in Ukraine. For context, we head to Germany to consult an expert on extremism in Ukraine and beyond. Allegations of a Nazi element in Ukraine and supposed evidence of their heinous acts circulate on social media. Funke says Ukraine's Nazi history dates back before World War II to a man named Stepan Bandera.
So this is the part I didn't know. No, I've never heard of this dude, Stefan Bandera.
Who collaborated infamously with the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazis.
Stepan Bandera was the leader of the most radical Ukrainian nationalists during the Second World War. And he decided, together with Nazi leaders, to fight against Jews, to fight against Polish people.
Bandera is said to be responsible for killing scores of Jews in Ukraine. After the war, he left Ukraine for West Germany, where documents indicate the U.S. considered him a valuable intelligence asset against a common enemy, the Soviet Union, and the spread of communism. After Russian agents reportedly assassinated Bandera in 1959, some in Ukraine elevated his memory to martyrdom, despite his Nazi ties.
Those who applaud to this kind of remembrance of Bandera are still widespread in the West Ukraine. You have a lot of statues remembering this person.
In 2010, Ukraine's then President Viktor Yushchenko awarded Bandera the title Hero of Ukraine, a decision condemned by Russia, Jewish groups, and Europe, and later overturned in court. A more recent high-level Bandera admirer, Ukraine's ambassador to Germany, Andrei Melnik, removed from his post last July in a scandal after he defended Bandera's memory.
So interestingly, it was Putin who said there were Nazis still in Ukraine.
All right, and there's the part 2 is only 40 seconds long, but it just finishes up. wrong one. Sorry. Like I said, it's only 40 seconds, so hold on. If I can find my damn place here. Here we go.
Bandera admire Ukraine, a decision condemned by Russia, Jewish groups, and Europe, and later overturned in court. A more recent high-level Bandera admirer, Ukraine's ambassador to Germany, Andrei Melnik, removed from his post last July in a scandal after he defended Bandera's memory.
So interestingly, it was Putin who said there were Nazis still in Ukraine. Was he right, though, that there are some Nazis in Ukraine?
Yes.
She says today Nazis have blended with a nationalist movement in Ukraine to fight Russia in the war, making for a complex formula. She insists that Nazi imagery, like an apparent swastika on a bracelet worn by Ukraine's armed forces commander-in-chief, symbolizes nationalism.
No, that symbolizes Nazism because they're Nazis.
Right.
And you're supporting Nazis. You're essentially have the Nazi flag in your Twitter bio if you have the Ukrainian flag in your Twitter bio.
It's kind of ironic that the ambassador to Germany is like some Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah. Or sardonic.
Weird shit. Anyways, we talked about before how, China's prepping for that Taiwan invasion that they've said is going to happen, just a matter of, when. So this is from the BBC. China simulates hitting key targets on Taiwan. So they're flying bomber routes. The drills, which Beijing called a stern warning, yeah, no shit, to the self-governing island are a response to Taiwan's president visiting the U.S. last week. As the Chinese military simulated an encirclement of the island, the U.S. urged Taiwan to show restraint. Show restraint. Really? I wonder if they use those words. Anyways, Taiwan said that about 70 Chinese aircraft flew around the island on Sunday. 11 Chinese ships were also spotted. On Saturday, Taiwan said that 45 warplanes either crossed the Taiwan Strait median line, the unofficial dividing line between Taiwanese and Chinese territory, or flew into the southwestern part of Taiwan's air defense identification zone. The operation, dubbed as Joint Sword by Beijing, will continue until Monday. Taiwanese officials have been enraged by the operation. On Saturday, defense officials in Taipei accused Beijing of using President Xi's U.S. visit as an excuse to conduct military exercises, which has seriously undermined peace, stability, and security in the region. So there you go.
We're running training drills over there for some reason. So I don't know what that's about.
You said we are?
Yeah, I saw something about that today. I don't know if we added it.
So this one says Taiwan surrounded. It may be talking about this exercise. Let's see what it says. So Taiwan is currently encircled by the Chinese military, and including 9 Chinese destroyers and aircraft carrier. Holy shit, 71 jets and missile launchers. The only time China encircled Taiwan was during Pelosi's visit last August. Taiwan is on high alert while China labels these actions as drills of an all-around encirclement of Taiwan. Code of Vets is in Taiwan and just quoted in our space Taiwanese citizens' current mood. This is the first time I'm ever scared. Remember Russia military drills hours before the invasion of Ukraine? Are we all, including me, just being naively complacent about the risk of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan? And you can see here, this was the encirclement that happened. You can see the destroyer placement.
There's a note. This map graphic was originally published by the Daily Mail in August 2022. Is that when Pelosi visited?
Yeah, so apparently they used the wrong map, but who cares? I mean, have basically a whole strike group encircling the island. 1 planes, I think it said 74 planes, an aircraft carrier, multiple destroyers, probably some submarines. Yeah, it's getting real.
That is a scary thing to have pointed at you.
Right.
Do you think? What are the chances that Taiwan just gives up peacefully?
None. I mean, I feel like there's some Chinese sympathizers like on the island that support China but are living in Taiwan. They're not all. The majority is for independence. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like there's probably a small group, like 5%, that support China.
I get the nationalistics, the nationalism of it, and I get not. I don't know what the threat is that China has on Taiwan if they absorb Taiwan, but like I look at Taiwan, I look at China, I see this huge country that is constantly on the main stage of events, and then I see Taiwan, this tiny little island, and I go, what's stopping China?
Nothing.
So, to me, it seems futile and it seems stupid to fight it. Well, progress is progress. I'm not saying I want China to take Taiwan, but what I am saying is, if I was Taiwan, I'd go, okay, hey, you know what? Hey, nobody needs to die here. You know, just we'll switch to your currency and we'll start doing business under your stuff. And then, hey, we're China's Taiwan now. It's all good. It's all good, bro. We'll pay our dues, and then avoid the conflict entirely. But this doesn't seem smart to me.
Well, one thing that I've learned about President Xi is he is very clever and very wise, and he just don't make a decision like overnight, and he'll set himself up like he's been doing with the U.S. And I think that now that they're about to roll out this currency and they have control of the world's GDP, I think it would be the perfect time, and he may have just been waiting for that. So I don't know.
Absolutely. This has been inevitable. We've been talking about this for a while now, right? But it's a matter of when and then how bad is it going to be, really.
So from the AP, in further escalations with Iran, the U.S. deploys guided missile submarine amid tensions. So these contain nuclear weapons. So, I mean, this is a big deal. Dubai, UAE, the U.S. Navy has deployed a guided missile submarine capable of carrying up to 154 Tomahawk missiles to the Middle East, a spokesman said Saturday, in what appeared to be a show of force toward Iran following recent tensions. You remember we covered where they had hit a U.S. base and we hit them back. Was it a drone attack? I don't even fucking remember.
I think it was a drone attack, yeah.
Targeting some kind of key infrastructure. So, yeah, the tensions between us and Iran are just escalating. He said the nuclear-powered submarine based out of Kings Bay, Georgia, that's that same base that I showed y'all the other night, passed through the Suez Canal on Friday. It is capable of carrying up to 154 Tomahawk attack cruise missiles and is deployed to U.S. Fifth Fleet to help ensure regional maritime security and stability, Hawkins said. The Fifth Fleet patrols the crucial Strait of Hormuz, the narrow mouth south of the Persian Gulf, through which 20% of all oil transits, which is a huge fucking deal, folks, that canal. So its regions include the Bab el-Mandeb Strait of Yemen and the Red Sea, stretching up to the Suez Canal, the Egyptian waterway linking the Mideast to the Mediterranean Sea. The U.S. and U.K. and Israel have accused Iran of targeting oil tankers and commercial ships in recent years, allegations denied by Tehran. The U.S. Navy has also reported a series of tense encounters at sea with Iranian forces that it said were being recklessly aggressive. I'll never forget them capturing a small boat. I believe it was Navy SEALs. And they took pictures of them, like, on their knees, like on that Iranian Navy vessel. Like, that shit was crazy. I think that happened under the Obama administration. It's been about 10 years ago-ish, something like that. Not 10, maybe 5, 6. Fuck, can't keep track anymore. It's like one country after another. And then even our allies are breaking with us. Japan, Brazil, Saudi
going to be
Arabia.
us in NATO. What's left of NATO, which is really just like the NATO army and the UN army and the American army. That's the side we're on. It's so gross. I feel so gross. 60,000 rape cases against the UN.
Wow.
We're in bed with a bunch of rapists, figuratively and literally.
So this is kind of crazy. So Russia deploys nuclear weapons along the border with Finland. Let's check this out. What?
Those are supposedly nuclear as well.
A lot of them. Huh. So why are they doing that? Do you know?
They're staging.
Right.
I mean, look, you bring out the big guns. You're. I guess you're prepared to use them because what you're doing is you're putting them in a position where they could be targeted. And if let's
you
say
think by NATO though, you think by NATO
used by NATO, aren't those Russian?
No. What I'm asking is, what are they defending in Finland? Is it the threat? Is it NATO or a Ukrainian counteroffensive, or what? What is it about Finland?
Oh, that is a really good point. Actually, I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah, why Finland of all
Probably
places?
NATO.
Yeah, it has to do something with just saying "fuck around, find out." Whatever border it is, it's fuck around, find out. Don't fuck with us. We're doing something in Ukraine. Leave us alone. Really,
Right. And most governments have some pretty decent generals and war strategists. Russia is doing this strategically because there's a threat, and they have intelligence, that there's a threat there. And they are vocal about it. So it's not like they snuck them up there. They also want us to know that they put those there.
That's a good point too.
So, I don't know, man. I hate seeing all this. But like I said, hopefully peace deal within the next 6 months negotiated by China, unfortunately, because it's not going to be us.
Yeah, it's not going to be us.
I'm trying to find where I left off.
Unless Trump can make a comeback in the next couple of months.
Here's Israel. I was trying to say Israel and Israeli at the same time. Israel says its fighter jets have hit a Syrian military compound. Let's check this out. This is from CNN, the most trusted name in news. Israel says its fighter jets have hit a Syrian military compound. Israel launched strikes against Syrian military targets after several rockets were fired from Syria, the Israeli military said. A total of 6 rockets were launched from Syria towards Israel, and 3 crossed into Israeli territory. The Israel Defense Forces, or the IDF, said one of the rockets landed in an Israeli compound or occupied Golan Heights or Golan Heights. Hell, I don't know. So far, the IDF has not reported any damage of Israeli territory. It is the latest flare-up after Israel struck Palestinian military targets in southern Lebanon and Gaza earlier on Friday in response to dozens of rockets fired from Lebanon into Israeli territory. The Israeli Defense Forces said that it had begun striking targets in Syria territory after the rockets were launched. So basically they're claiming a retaliatory strike. One side pointing fingers at the other. Who do you think is wrong in this situation, Jay? I don't know, but I know that they've been fighting for thousands of years.
Well, the Christian in me says to respect and love the Jew. However, everything I'm seeing here lately says that the Israeli forces are way out of line. They're murdering Palestinians everywhere. It might all be propaganda. I don't know. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that everywhere I'm looking, the Israeli forces, the police over there, or the military, are slaughtering people left and right and treating them like they're not even humans. They're dehumanizing them. And now you get shit like this. So I don't know. Just based off of that stuff, I want to say that the Israelis are the bad guys here. But
I mean, we showed video. Yeah, we showed video last podcast of the IDF going inside of a mosque on Ramadan and just beating the shit out of innocent people with batons.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we also covered the shooting at the mosque in Israel
Right.
a couple weeks ago, and a couple of other, and the firework wars that have been happening on the streets of Palestine past couple weeks.
And it's kind of odd because the U.S. is supposed to be an ally of Israel, and even if you want to label us as the whole right standpoint is defend Israel, support Israel. I mean, a lot of these people that you see with like flags in their yards, supporting what political party that they support. Like if it's a Republican household, they may have a MAGA flag, a American flag, and a Israeli flag. Like that's pretty typical to see. So I feel like if something is happening that's wrong, it should be called out. And I get the whole Christian aspect behind this, and the MAGA, movement, has pretty much 99% of the evangelical vote. So it's like, I just think people need to pay attention to what's going on and quit distrusting people like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. It's not so like, 'cause look, like, maybe it's a good idea to support the Israeli people. However, maybe the Israeli government's more corrupt than ours is. So it's not a blanket statement. You can't be like, I support Israelis or Israelites or Israel, and then somebody else goes, oh, I can't believe you support Israel because they only know the corrupt government side of Israel, whereas the good people side of Israel. It's really not black and white. It's not cut and dry. It's not binary. And if you go at it that way, you're going to offend somebody. So
Right.
let's just leave it at, we like some parts of it. The other parts can go.
Makes sense to me. Well, meanwhile, over in China, they're gearing up for what they describe as cognitive warfare. Like the U.S. military and PLA is working on wearable sensors and other ways to hone and maintain troops' fighting spirit. China's military is increasingly at work on wearable technology and a dedicated psychological support system to win at what it views as crucial space in cognitive warfare, manipulating enemy troops' state of mind to shape their behavior and hardening its own forces against such efforts. They were quoted, they said, in future cognitive domain operations, which is a strange cognitive domain operations, the influence of rational factors such as science and logic on individual cognition is likely to be weakened, and cognitive confrontation may become contest of emotions, says one recent article in the PLA Daily. The rapid development of intelligent technology is changing the logic of information decimation in an all-around way, making the impact of information on thinking and consciousness more profound and comprehensive. A human brain and human brain cognition has truly risen to an important field of the military confrontation. So I'm going to try to find. So the PLA is also expanding the use of high-stress virtual reality simulations to make officers and soldiers feel like they're in actual combat. The value of VR also lies in how the data is collected during such training sessions can then be used in the future to better prepare other soldiers for combat. On the lower tech side, the PLA has built an anti-stress training halls. I feel like that's more of the same. I want to know what these. Did I miss what it said that they do? These wearable devices, or is it just collecting data like on their vitals and shit like that?
Yeah, it's either monitoring them or it's giving them some kind of superpower to hack into the enemy somehow. Most likely, it's monitoring.
It says cognitive domain operations seek to capture the mind of one's foes, changing the thoughts and perceptions of an adversary to shape their decisions and actions. What the fuck does that even mean?
You ever see the movie Men Who Stare at Goats, George Clooney?
Yes, but it's been a long time, but yeah.
It's within the realm of that.
It's just like some MK Ultra type shit.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, but and there's something to it. Look, there's something to... one time in particular, I was working at a Whataburger, and I got this guy was giving me some shit about, I told him I could fight. And he was making fun of me, acting like I couldn't. And within a few seconds, without touching him, I had him backed into a corner. And then he realized I'd backed him into a corner, and he got real freaked out because I had somehow and I didn't do it on purpose. I wasn't like, watch this magic trick. It's just he was pissing me off. I was like, oh yeah. And by the time we both kind of realized what was going on, I had dominated him into this corner where I was over him, and you could tell it was just a really weird situation. And so there is something to kind of like hijacking somebody's experience within a situation, and if you have the mental acuity to do it. But I don't know. I guess if you want to weaponize that would be pretty. I wouldn't want to fight somebody that could do that to me.
So I found the wearable, what it does. So it says it's going to be an early warning and intervention as needed in a growing number of PLA units. Each soldier is being given a smart sensor bracelet, which PLA Daily reports can provide that's not psychological. That's, what is this? I think
What's the word?
I don't know what that means. PHYSIO?
Physiological.
Oh, you're right. Data. So it is their vitals and shit. And promptly dispatches a psychological counselor to carry out psychological counseling. So this thing is going to be your fucking shrink too when you're on the battlefield.
Well, so what it is, it's probably they monitor the vitals of the most peak mental state of being able to influence somebody else's mental state, and then they're constantly keeping their soldiers at a state of high performance that gives them a mental edge over their opponent. Which is, I mean, that's of all the things I've heard about modifications on soldiers, that one's actually pretty cool, I guess. I don't know.
And
hopefully it's not like tortures.
They've used, psychological things in the battlefield, for, going back thousands of years, really. I mean, you got these war chants and shit. I mean, torches, drums,
Trojan horses.
Right. Things like that, will, affect your opponent psychologically. And since then, like Vietnam, they used to blare audio of Vietnamese soldiers dying and telling them that the war was over, come out of the jungle, and like all kind of shit. You brought up Waco the other night, so they blared dying rabbits for days, and those individuals out in the compound at Waco. So yeah, this has been used for a long time.
Yeah, well, and the Viet Cong themselves, man, those guys. You want to talk about psychological warfare? Our soldiers got so messed up they were scared of children because a child walks up to you. You don't know if he's about to blow you and himself up or not. They got to a point where they were murdering children themselves as opposed to being blown up by them because they didn't know. They just had no idea. They had no way of telling, and it really took an impact. Not to mention all the secret holes and tunnels and all the ways that these tiny little Chinese or Asian men could pop up and wreak havoc on you. I mean, it was a very respectable warfare. I would not want to go mess with one of those countries. That's a scary way to do combat.
And those individuals were totally disrespected by the American public when they got home because of all this propaganda that was put out, like things like that, and the fact that they lost the war when they shouldn't have been over there in the first place. Gulf of Tonkin was a total false flag. They fucked up. Yeah, they had no idea.
Lieutenant Dan, he lost his legs for nothing.
Right. Anyways, let's where are we at here? You want to take over? I gotta go use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Sure. Oh, I guess we're back on the 70 Chinese aircraft. I think we've already covered this. Let's poke into it. Very time is now 70 Chinese aircraft, 11 warships trying to. Yeah, we already covered that. All right. Sorry. Just another take. I don't know why this is under war. This should probably be under maybe random, but this is 9/11 footage. Slowed down. It's like we get it. It was a staged event. How was it staged? What I'm interested in. Who was involved? This tweet says, RG 911 team, when you slow down the video of the Twin Towers coming down, the explosive ejections can be clearly seen in the dust clouds and in the lower floor. They are too violent and rapid to be window glass breaking. That is direct evidence of explosives. And honestly, I mean, it is.
Right here. When you look at it, the building has collapsed.
Less than an hour later, the South Tower came crumbling down. It collapsed.
See the charges going off?
It appearing to fall away from the rest of the buildings. We go to the
You can see the explosives
when you look at it, the building has collapsed. That tower just came down.
on the building in the videos of the planes collapsing. There's video of somebody putting the crew that put the explosives on the building the day before. They make a clear pattern.
Oh shit, we going full 9/11 mode right now?
Yeah, I just pulled that one out. It was supposed to be under random, but it was under war for some reason. It's on me. But
well, it kind of did cause a war.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Not a current. Well. Okay. Still current war.
Justified a war. And I love how they brushed under the rug how the Saudis were involved. Back then, I was saying, okay, so why are we not like? Well, for one, why are we invading Iraq? Bin Laden's not even in Iraq.
Yeah.
And he never was. Well, I'm not going to say he never was, but at that time, he never was. Shit.
Well, it was for oil. No, wait. It was for weapons of mass destruction. No, wait. It was to install central banks.
Yeah, and poppy field security out in Afghanistan.
Of course. So this is Luke Rudkowski, the guy from Timcast, right? No, he's from WeAreChange.org, I believe. I don't know how about you, but trying to get young people to drink alcohol through propaganda is evil. And I agree with that. This whole Bud Light thing feels icky to me anyways, because I'm drinking a beer right now, but the idea of promoting the drinking of I know beer exists, I'll have a beer. Everybody knows beer exists. If they know what it does, they'll have a beer if they want a beer. We shouldn't be advertising it. Same with cigarettes, that's just my opinion on it though. I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to advertise it. I just think we as a society should agree that it's gross to do so and shun anybody that does. Not that it should be a law.
Especially when minors are watching, because you're not I don't think me or you is trying to program children to, start drinking or smoking. Matter of fact, if you're listening out there and you're underage, don't ever start. It's just a dumb move.
If you're listening out there and you're underage, what the hell are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I need to put a TVMA warning label on this stream. I don't
Right. And for you parents out there, send them to bed, y'all.
It bothers me that it is possible for an underage child to have access to a stream like this. Not that we're over here doing horrible things, but my mouth is very foul. I've gotten in trouble for it a few times. Apparently, I'm a very offensive person. According to a couple of streams ago, we got a comment about that. I don't apologize for it. I do it for the shock value. This is entertainment, people. We're essentially clowns. We're news clowns.
Exactly.
This is the Bud Light marketing executive.
I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear
She's a businesswoman.
job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in this. I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like, we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And
she's actually a genius if you think about it. Nobody's thought about this. Target the children. If you get them in early, they're customers for life. She's brilliant.
What I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men.
Mm-hmm.
And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work, and we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light had been kind of a brand of
piss beer,
fratty, kind of out of touch humor, and it was really important that we had another approach.
It's piss beer.
I
If
mean,
you're
it's,
playing
to me,
beer
it's
pong,
just like
you don't want to spend a lot of money on beer. You buy a
Yeah.
24 pack of Bud Light.
I'm not gonna be like one of
Jeez,
the majority of the right wing commentary. Comment. I can't speak right now.
I'm a businesswoman.
What was I saying? Oh, right wing commentators out there who are saying, you know, Bud Light's gross. Look, y'all know me. I've enjoyed a Bud Light or two in my life.
He has.
You know, so it's like, what the fuck?
Lowbrow about his beer. Apparently.
It's a typical domestic light beer. Like, it tastes to me like Corona. I was just telling you this the other day, Jay. Like, I can't tell the difference between a fucking Corona and a Bud Light. I mean, not Corona, but like a Miller Light and a Bud Light.
They all taste like piss.
They all taste. I mean, they don't taste like piss. They just taste like a light beer. You know. If it tasted like piss, I wouldn't drink it. Trust me. But like, you know, that's the only point that I wanted to make. It's just like, fuck.
There's good
this
beer,
lady,
and then there's this.
They're never going to be able to compete with all these new microbreweries coming out. They're fucking taking over the market. And that's a great thing. I love to see small businesses open up and make some local beer. Like, that's cool as shit.
But do you know when I drank Bud Light? When I was too young to drink. That's when I literally I've never once been like, can I get a Bud Light? Maybe a couple of times at a concert or a show somewhere where they just have a couple of choices. I might have gotten a Bud Light, or somebody gets me a beer.
Yeah.
It might have been a Bud Light. I'm not saying I've never drank Bud Light, but I've never I've gone for Budweiser. Budweiser was my beer of choice. Even when we were hanging out last week, I a couple of times was like, let me get a Budweiser. I had to change my choice mid-choice because, you know.
I think it may just be something you're used to, like, because with me, I can take any blonde colored beer. I'm a fan of. When it gets too dark, I just don't like the bitterness of it. Like, some people are into the hops and, you know, whatever they're using, the wheat or whatever. But to me, like, I need like an amber to a blonde colored beer, and I'm good. Like, that's kind of how I am.
I like to explore beers. I like a vanilla beer. I like a coffee beer.
Yeah.
I like different beers, but you know what? It has to have a high alcohol concentration, because otherwise, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm not here to I like the flavor, but I'm not here to just sip on beer. I went to a place that had like 0.4 alcohol in this can of grapefruit beer at this wine. I don't even know what I don't even know why
it's practically an O'Doll, like 0.4.
Yeah, it was embarrassing to have to sit there and drink that beer. And it's like $8 too.
Apparently, some people like the taste. There's a market out there for non-alcoholic beers, and people are just going out there buying non-alcoholic beers.
I don't know. I feel like those are just people that don't want to get drunk, but don't want to be left out either.
Yeah, but it's dumb. Everyone knows it's non-alcoholic. I don't know.
I don't know either. Apparently, the cool thing to do nowadays is be sober. So,
I
might
support
try the
that.
sober challenge.
Sober October for me. I got a few months.
Is that it?
Sorry, the financial news is just too devastating.
Things will definitely be better in October.
All I'm saying is a man needs a beer every now and then.
Let's talk more about this Mulvaney, which is, never mind, I'm not going to do it. There's a joke there somewhere about Vaney, her not having a dick. I'm not going to stoop to that level. I'm not going to try to make jokes like that here on this broadcast. Let's read this article. Major distributor cancels upcoming appearances of Budweiser Clydesdale horses over embrace of trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. So,
Jesus Christ, look at her.
Go trans, lose horses, I guess, or I don't know. I guess. I've been to the Budweiser brewery in St. Louis. They do have Clydesdales on deck and Dalmatians. I pet the Dalmatian. I got to pet the horse, the Clydesdales.
Huh.
So I guess they rent them out for advertising and marketing and promotional events.
Well,
And,
who was the distributor, though?
Yeah.
That's relevant.
Let's see. Anheuser-Busch made a huge mistake by embracing transgender activist and influencer Dylan Mulvaney. A major distributor in Missouri has canceled all upcoming appearances of the famous Budweiser Clydesdale horses following the company's decision to give an endorsement deal to Mulvaney. People have had it with having wokeness shoved down their throats. Budweiser is going to regret making this choice. Let's see. This list of companies and corporations facing backlash and the threats of boycotts is the fall like dominoes to the woke mob seems to increase daily. I don't see it. Do you see it?
It just said from Missouri. So Will Fisher Distributing. There we go.
In Springfield area. Canceled all upcoming appearances of the iconic Anheuser-Busch Clydesdale horse team. So, yeah.
It's just I wish they could keep their political beliefs, like whoever's in charge of marketing and whoever signs off on it. Just quit doing that shit with, corporations. Nobody wants to hear it, and ultimately you're just going to divide your customer in half, or you're going to lose half of your customers. And in this case, they probably lost a lot more than half. And again, I'm not supporting a boycott. I'll be the one who says no because it's not hurting this corporation. Like I said before, it's only hurting people like you and me who go.
I had a really clear job.
Basically absorb the losses because they won't. So it's the people like your distributors who, like I said, are making a commission off of the sales that are virtually non-existent now in some movies because of this dumb woke bullshit.
Yep. They're the ones that fill it. But you know what?
I'm a businesswoman.
She's a businesswoman. Give her a break.
Fucking A.
Oh, man. Get back in the kitchen. I swear to God. I'm not sexist, but you make it hard not to be.
It's like if you're gonna do something like this, you are driven off of emotion. Not to say that there isn't guys out there driven off of emotion, but this in a business setting, fuck emotion. Even if some organization comes up to you, to your spokesperson, and asks you about some current event that you're supposed to give your political take on as a corporation, as if you're supposed to do that, you should just say no comment. Yeah. Like, you don't have to fucking go off on some, woke shit to offend, a small majority out there who, think that they're in charge of what we're allowed to say and do and think.
It's like, we sell beer. Beer makes you drunk. Drunk people are the worst people to talk to about politics. Therefore, we don't talk about politics. Buy our beer. I would buy a shit ton of that beer. I don't care if it tastes like piss.
Makes no sense to me, but it's happening.
So is this. Action must be taken. Rep. Justin Pearson is speaking for the people of Tennessee who don't want to see gun violence take the lives of innocent children. This young man is speaking his truth to power. We must demand he be reinstated back to the legislature. No, we must demand he be what do they call it? There's been no House members. They put you in a home for crazy people and have you evaluated. Whatever that is, that's the one. Commit this guy.
No, this is
admit. What'd you say?
Admit.
Okay.
An admission. Yeah, admit.
This is the guy that led charge on the trans rally, taking over the House in the Tennessee Capitol with the microphone.
Yeah, there was 3 of them.
And this guy was voted to be suspended.
Isn't it kind of crazy? Like they were calling like to overthrow the Tennessee House, and that's not an insurrection.
Don't get me started.
Isn't that weird?
It's weird. Yeah, weird. That's what we'll go with. It's super weird.
Whatever.
It's not happening. As though we are not living in a gun violence epidemic in the state of Tennessee. And the solutions that are being offered is actually to reduce the First Amendment rights of people who speak up on behalf of their constituencies, who speak up on behalf of people who are tired of the guns, who are tired of seeing legislation being passed that lowers the age for you to carry, tired of seeing legislation being passed that says you don't need a permit, tired of legislation being passed that says if we give teachers guns, that's somehow going to fix the problem. People are tired of these non-real solutions to a real problem that we are suffering from. I've lost a...
Look, Plymouth Rock didn't land on us. We landed on Plymouth Rock, right? Is that how that goes? This guy is a caricature of Malcolm X, but he is a tool for for leftism, and everything that comes out of his mouth is a leftist talking point that they're all hitting on, where it's trans people are being genocided, they need rights. Also, we have a gun epidemic. However, we're not going to talk about how the trans people are the ones with the guns that are killing people. So
Yeah, little stunts like this is what sets you up for to be a Tennessee senator at some point. So he'll probably be representing the state of Tennessee in the next fucking 4 years or some shit.
I hope he
Out in
gets
DC.
into oblivion. Screw this guy. This isn't politics. This is a sham.
Didn't they vote to basically expel them? And I think that's why Kamala Harris went down there in support of those three. But because they tried to incite an insurrection, essentially, they were expelled from the Tennessee Congress, and where they voted to expel them. And now you got VP Harris coming down and preaching. I think we'll get to her later.
This is happening now. Tennessee House Republicans vote to advance bill to allow teachers to carry guns in schools a week after mass shooting in Nashville. This is the reaction from the mothers, teachers, advocates gathered to oppose the reckless legislation. I don't see how this is reckless.
No. It's a huge deterrent.
There are children alive today that would be dead because of your attitudes.
Teacher shortage is going to get worse. Do you know any teachers?
Oh my God. You can always tell like the hardcore leftist in the group because they sound like they're doing a voice for a male child character on a cartoon. When they're yelling in the background. It makes my skin crawl.
You met these people, they shouldn't have guns.
Is that Timmy Turner?
Former teacher, I would never carry a gun to school. And I know how to use a gun and I own it. I would never
And that is why you shouldn't be trusted to teach children.
carry a gun in front of my students. I loved my students. I would die for them, but I would not shoot them.
No shit, bitch.
What? How do we get first of all, she shouldn't be allowed to have a gun. Can we get a psychological evaluation on this lady? Where did she draw the line between carrying a gun to protect her children and actually shooting the children?
What she's trying to insinuate is, it's not mental illness. Even I could fucking pull a gun out and kill these children. So why should teachers be armed? Like, she's totally ignoring the fact you're armed to, kill the guy who comes in your class and starts murdering children. You're supposed to shoot that person, not the kids. You ignorant bitch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're dead on is what you are.
That is crazy.
I am so glad I'm not.
I would never shoot my students. Well, most people that wouldn't shoot their students wouldn't have to say that out loud. They wouldn't feel the need to say that out loud. Why did you say that? Why did you say that?
Yeah. Anyways.
There you go. What she's saying is if she had a gun, she would be compelled to shoot her children. Therefore, we need to keep guns out of their hands because it's not. She's admitting she's not safe.
Yeah. And I if I was, working for that school, I'd be supportive of not arming her. I think that everybody else could, carry her slack.
Everybody but her gets a gun.
Put her like in the middle of the hallway, so that way, people on both wings can, look out for that classroom.
Yeah. And then every day somebody has to come by and check her room to make sure she doesn't have a firearm.
Right.
All right. This is happening now. Hundreds of students walk out at Trinity Episcopal School in Charlotte. This is to protest gun. This is in protest to gun violence and mass shootings in the country. But like the people doing the shootings, do you think they're like, well, I was going to go do a shooting today, but then those kids walked out. Now I'm like, I get it. I don't understand. Who are they protesting to?
Good point.
Also, Not exactly an entire school full of children. If you ask me. Class
organized. Yeah, this is organized by some teacher on a mission.
Never again, they say. Oh wait, well there is more. It's probably that guy, the guy with the shades and it hasn't shaved in a few days.
Yeah.
A little house on the prairie back here.
Look at the kids were told, be on your best behavior. We're about to go out the door. We're going to make a right, and we're going to walk by these camera crews, and they're going to film us doing this stuff so we can spread it all over the nation in some form of anti-gun propaganda.
There it is. Sign this form. Also happening now, Hume Fogg high schoolers are arriving at Tennessee's capital. So this lady needs a new pair of pants. I wonder if that's what they're... Probably not they're protesting.
Yeah, they should be protesting.
Tell me what democracy looks like!
Also, I would like to point out this guy looks like, what do you think, 1817?
What?
What are you laughing at?
1817.
Yeah.
Oh, his age? I thought you were talking about the year. I'm like, no, that don't look like 1817 to me.
Fuck up. How old do you think he is?
Yeah, probably about, I'd say around 18.
Same with her.
This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is.
We've got like toddlers running around in the crowd too. So where do these kids come from?
I don't know, but they all have is it the same sign? No, they're different.
Yeah, they're handwritten.
Yeah.
What democracy looks like.
I don't know. That's weird.
Well, I've been noticing that they've been pushing the anti-gun really heavily. They're trying to take the guns in various bills. Got Biden lecturing about us, lecturing us about it daily on Twitter. All this shit in Tennessee.
Yeah. Also happening now. Students are filling the halls of the legislature, and Williams Lambert is talking down to Brother Jones in Tennessee.
Let
me ask y'all this.
Why don't we ban assault rifles? You don't need those. Those are just for army.
These are war weapons.
Everyday people should not own
What
assault
are you
rifles at
doing
all.
with your military war weapons?
Hold on, let him answer
I'd like
that.
to ask, what do you feel like that would do to make a safer society?
Because assault rifles are only used by.
Hang on, I'd like to hear this, young man, if y'all don't mind. Hold up, guys. Would y'all like to hear him or not?
No, they want to hear. They want to hear from you. They want to hear from you.
Justin, we've heard enough out of you, young man. Please continue.
I mean, it's fair. Let somebody get a point out.
People in the army, there's no point in everyday.
For them safely.
Okay, so that's,
All right.
They're using children as a weapon against the legislation up there in Tennessee.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to insult anybody there, but everything that gentleman just said was wrong. Ban assault weapons. We have to define them first. I've been preaching that. We have to define them first. What is an assault weapon? And I heard some other chick yell out, they're military-grade weapons. And you notice how they were all trying to interrupt him as if he couldn't speak for himself. You got on the white Karens out there trying to speak up when that man's asked a question. But anyways, military-grade weapons, no, they're not. They're semi-automatic rifles. And they're less powerful than a .308, which is used as a hunting rifle, which that other lady was like, why don't we just use hunting rifles? It's literally a lesser caliber. The only thing that they have any argument on is capacity size for magazines. But they're trying to ban that down to like 5, which eliminates pretty much every semi-automatic handgun on the market right now. So just be aware of what's going on. They're not fooling people that actually know the definitions of these things.
Right. Yeah. Plus, they shouldn't be allowed to regulate what type of weapons that we can own. This is the Uvalde school. These kids.
Pesky Constitution. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, right. So once again, like they've got the kids out there at Uvalde protesting gun violence, as if there's a solution to end it. The only solution is to get them to stop doing these fucking psyops. by whatever means that they're perpetrating these things. That's what's happening. You know,
I can take back over if you want me to.
Yeah, okay. We're at the Riley Gaines.
What
I didn't get the video of her being chased down by the activist and being held against her will in a room for 3 hours by the police and these activists, and or her being assaulted. But this is the aftermath.
All right, I got it. Let's see here. So it says breaking Riley Gaines to pursue legal action following violent assault on TPUSA hosted SFSU event. Speaking to Fox News on Saturday, former NCAA University of Kentucky swimmer Riley Gaines said that she will be pursuing legal action after her assault Thursday night by radical trans activists during the Turning Point USA event at San Francisco State University. Quoted by saying, well, first of all, nothing has happened to the people who assaulted me, Gaines said. The campus police did nothing. The student or the dean of students was there and did nothing. There will be no repercussions unless I have something to do with it. And she said she was going to be pursuing legal action. These people need to face repercussions. She said, and I was barricaded, she said, because after my speech, the ambush of people entered into the classroom, turned off the lights, and they attacked me. I got escorted out of the room and immediately pushed into that room, and we saw on video was trapped in there for 3 hours. So basically what she was defending is, you know, there's a lot of females that are losing records that are unable to compete because in their division, they're competing against trans individuals, meaning biological male in this situation, who just has a physical advantage over them. It's common sense. I mean, that's why you have people that are competing in male divisions scoring in the 400th range. And then when they move over into the women's division, they're crushing records and defeating everybody. That's why. And it's not fair to women. It's not. The solution to this is to have them their own division for them to compete. And if we don't do that, we're just going to continue to see records crushed and bones crushed and who the fuck knows what else. But anyway, so she spoke out against this, and this mob of individuals confronted her and attempted to assault her.
Well, first of all, nothing has happened to the people who assaulted me. The campus police did nothing. The student or the dean of students was there and did nothing. There will be no repercussions unless I have something to do with it. I will be pursuing legal action. These people need to face repercussions. And I was barricaded because after my speech, an ambush of people entered into the classroom, turned off the lights, they attacked me. I got escorted out of the room and immediately pushed into that room that we saw on the video, and I was trapped in there for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's just it's unbelievable what happened to you, and even more unbelievable the aftermath and how these people are.
So what do you think about that, Jay?
I mean, it's crazy that we had that male swimmer take the whatever women's competition, you know, so I mean, it was the easiest thing that person had probably done that week. And then an actual female swimmer is being accosted and assaulted at these colleges. And then there's a statement from the college coming up here in regards to all of this. And she is pursuing legal action. But the cops, I'm not gonna try to say that these cops were like in on it, but it did seem like they just kind of like didn't know what to do, or it's like they held her down to take the abuse for several hours in this room. And it's just, I felt bad for her.
So breaking, San Francisco State University has just released a statement to students after Riley Gaines was assaulted and held hostage by them. The university VP commended the trans activists for their tremendous bravery and described them as behaving peacefully. Then they offer support to the violent mob who assaulted Riley with campus resources to help them, quote, process and, quote, begin to heal. Let's see what I don't think it's too long. Dear San Francisco State community, Today, San Francisco State finds itself again at the center of a national discussion regarding freedom of speech and expression. Let me begin by saying clearly that the trans community is welcome and belongs at San Francisco State University. Further, our community fiercely believes in unity, connection, care, and compassion, and we value different ideas, even when they are not our own. San Francisco State is regularly noted as one of the most diverse campuses in the United States. This is what makes us Gators, and this is what makes us great. Diversity promotes critical discussions, new understandings, and enriches the academic experience. But we may also find ourselves exposed to divergent views and even views we find personally abhorrent. These encounters have sometimes led to discord, anger, confrontation, and fear. We must meet this moment and unite with the shared value of learning. Thank you to our students who participated peacefully in Thursday evening's event. It took tremendous bravery to stand in the challenging space. I'm proud of the moments when we listened and asked insightful questions. I'm also proud of the moments when our students demonstrated the value of free speech and the right to protest peacefully. These issues do not go away. These values are very much at our core. This feels difficult because it is difficult. As you reflect, process, and begin to heal, please remember that there are people, resources, and services available and ready to receive our Gator community, including faculty, staff members, coaches, mentors, and those who are here to support you. So this fucking group goes nuts and, attempts to who knows what to this girl for, utilizing her right to free speech. And they are commended for these violent acts and offered support. In various forms.
It's kind of like if you go into an insane asylum and you piss off all the insane people, the nurses, are going to quickly get you out of there. They're going to be rude about it, right? Because you just made their job hard. And then they're going to go in there and they're going to try to pacify all the insane people because they're insane. So they don't get in trouble for stuff. You just got to try to calm down. All right, go back to your bed. Go back.
Exactly.
That's what they're doing. But this is a university. This is a university that, they gateway people's careers, their educations.
Future bosses
are cowing down in a really a major and severe way. Hey, we have 21 people watching us on Rumble. We've got about 30 minutes left in this broadcast. I'd like to try to finish it out with 10 likes if we can on this little live stream over here on the Erroneous Podcast, the Wrong Podcast. Thank you for joining us.
So happening now in Montana, they'll be hearing one of the worst anti-drag bills in the United States, according to Aaron Reed's Twitter. HB 359, which would outlaw drag in public spaces and define any business which hosts drags as a sexually oriented business. I will also be testifying. Watch with me. And is this a video? No, it's not. So... Okay, so it would outlaw drag in public spaces. I don't care if they have their own building and do that shit. Like, I don't know what that means, public spaces. But yeah, keep it out of places where, there's children. That's my whole thing.
Yeah, a guy walking around in drag, that sounds like that would outlaw that. Or a girl for that matter, I guess. But, at what point is that too much governmental control?
Right.
Too much overreach. But on one hand, but on the other hand, I really do see an issue with the amount of perversion that's being allowed to run rampant in our society at the moment. And I think it needs to be cleaned up by some means. It needs to be, guys. We're in trouble.
See, I have this weird point of view. Like, I think that, prostitution should be legal. Like, if people want to do that, they should be able to do that. But the point is, don't do it in the fucking restaurant. Don't do it in the library. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, don't be I don't want to see hookers waving their crusty ass cabbages on every street corner. I if you're going to do that, I don't want to have to know about it unless I'm interested in making a purchase. If you have a catalog, I might visit your website, but I don't want to have to be exposed to your what do you even call that? Your degeneration.
Right.
When I'm trying to go get a sandwich the local.
This is right. This is kind of crazy. So, violent Portland Black Lives Matter Antifa rioter Dakota K. Means, who was previously federally convicted for threatening to shoot a federal officer with an AR near the sieged federal courthouse in August 2020. Remember when they took over Portland and, you know, they had the whole autonomous zone and their little gardens and shit?
Chad.
Yeah.
Jazz.
Anyways, yeah, fucking nut jobs. So they sieged the federal courthouse in August 2020, but given only probation, has now been convicted for killing his infant child. A Portland judge sentenced him to 12 and a half years in prison. His baby had a fractured skull, brain bleeds, and broken ribs. Means was a regular at the riots in 2020, even camping out during the day in front of the Justice Center with the Antifa crew. They witnessed him committing arson at one riot in July. So they let him out early on probation, and this nut job kills his infant child. Sad. I don't really have anything else to add other than, like, don't take over your city and set it on fire and break things. It's just not a good idea. That goes for everyone out there.
What kind of idiot would procreate with that asshole? For one, how low down are you that that's the guy you choose? I can't get a date on Tinder, but this guy gets to go have babies. And what did he do? How did that baby's skull get fractured? Is what I want to know. By what means?
I bet if you lowered your standards, I bet you could find one like her. I'm just saying. Hold on.
I'd do better by her than he did.
So here's just a form of election interference by ABC. You know, they're supposed to be fair and balanced, and, you know, they don't have an agenda. They just report the news. And this was verified. Help rate the community notes you can see here. So verified. The video below indeed blurs Trump's SMS number on ABC News YouTube channel. So, I mean, it really did happen. They blurred out Trump's text this number here to donate, and they left the Bidens up, same network. What the fuck?
Well, but Trump's a hardened criminal.
Right. And they're scared of the amount of money he's raising now. I hadn't checked recently, but I know last podcast he went the day he got arrested, he raised $5 million in one night.
I saw that. You sent that to me, I think.
Yeah, nothing's going to stick. It's just, I mean, just like Russian collusion, nothing came of it. Why? Because they didn't have evidence of anything. Matter of fact, all the evidence pointed the other direction. 2 impeachments, investigation after investigation, and this is just your latest one. Don't put too much thought in it or energy out there, folks. He'll be all right. He has good lawyers.
See, but my thing is that we're going to get to a point where they're just going to arrest him and say, because we can, get over it, because that's all they've got left.
I should have put this up there with the Tennessee stuff. But anyway, so our lovely vice president made a trip out there, and she met with some individuals. Let's listen to her talk for a little bit. Sorry, I apologize in advance. Fake crying at the end. You like that? Look at her face right there.
I saw a tweet that said, "This is Kamala Harris. Can we start giving her the respect she deserves now?" And I couldn't help but laugh my ass off about that. This is the profound Kamala we've all been waiting for.
Jesus Christ!
She's finally arrived. She's finally fitting into the shoes of the Vice President of the United States of America. She's finally leading the charge for the people. God bless her.
Look, we all know she was a diversity hire. She was a black woman. She polled under 1% in the Democratic primaries. Okay? That's just how it is. I know that's offensive to some, but I don't care. You think Joe Biden and his cabinet or his people directing his campaign wanted Kamala for her wisdom and leadership style? No.
She was an Obama pick.
She was polling less than 1% in the Democratic primaries. Their own party hated her. Anyways, whatever. That's what you get.
What you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Right. The House GOP expands probe in the Biden election interference, targets DOJ attorney used to jumpstart Trump case. The House Judiciary Committee is ratcheting up its investigation into the Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's office over last week's historic indictment of a former president. On Friday, House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan sent a letter to the Manhattan's DA senior counsel, Matthew Collego or some shit, I don't know, requested a transcribed interview, the Federalist reported. Quote, given your history of working for law enforcement entities that are pursuing President Trump and the public reporting surrounding your decision to work for the New York County District Attorney's Office, we request your cooperation with our oversight in your personal capacity, Jordan wrote. Yeah, so they've basically subpoenaed that whole DA's office. And yeah, something will end up coming of this. I think that's why they didn't do him dirty with the arraignment, because, you know, the story started to fall apart when it got leaked.
Yep, they keep getting out in front of it. So they have to lock him down, but they're not going to be able to, and that's where my fear lies, is that we're going to hit a point where they have no other option. They have to get him off the board, but they can't. They have no recourse other than to just blatantly go against the American people in all manner of law, or legal procedure, and just go put him in handcuffs and put him in the back of a car and put him in a cell somewhere and be like, we're holding you because.
Well, I saw that this particular Manhattan DA, Bragg, has decreased, or what is it called when you lower a criminal charge from like a felony to a misdemeanor? Whatever that word is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He had done that to 59% of violent felonies. He had downgraded them to a misdemeanor. And in Trump's case, something that, the same crime that they charged Hillary with, $500 fine, they have upgraded this for the first time ever to a felony in order to target him with this. It's just really crazy when this guy ran on that he was going to hold Trump accountable. He's a Trump hater. That his whole staff is a Trump hater. That's why they had to take down their Meet the Team bios on the DA's Manhattan's office website. Everybody knows what's going on here. Everybody can see right through it. You have a hard time even getting a Democrat to tell you exactly what's criminal about this, what he did.
Yeah, he's covering up crimes apparently, but those crimes cannot be described.
Right.
Just there were some crimes. Don't ask us what crimes, and you covered them up. Don't ask us how either. You're in trouble for it, bad boy.
Right. So this is something that I put on last week's episode, but we were having that issue with Twitter and the audio. So I just wanted to show it. This is a citizen journalist, actually James O'Keefe with that OMG network that he just started after getting fired from Veritas. But apparently these people are donating money to Democratic candidates, but they're totally unaware of the fact. And we're talking about thousands of dollars. So let's see what they say.
I think it's your name and your address being used.
Lori Ball, over the last 2 years, has made over 537 donations for a total of like maybe $7,000. Is that?
No.
1,850 individual donations for over $13,400.
That doesn't sound right.
No? Okay.
While members of the Maryland House formally debate investigating contribution irregularities exposed by OMG News, another citizen journalist has sent in footage of themselves investigating irregularities in their own state. This time, a dynamic duo from Southern California corroborates information that they found by researching publicly available data.
There's some days it says like you've donated 7 times in one day.
No.
Like $5 a month or something?
Yeah, $5 a month.
But that would in total $13,000 in 2 years.
Maybe somebody is using your name and address. It's not coming out of your account, but they're donating it in your name.
Well, that could very well be because they need to have spread it out.
Exactly.
They can't all. I can see. I can see how that can happen.
Yeah.
Somebody using.
Yeah, identity.
See, this is what we think is happening. We think somebody's using your name. Do you think that you've donated like $60,000 to them in the past year? So that would be $5,000 a month?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll get the idea. So there's some shady shit going on. Just be aware of that.
Yeah. If there's if there is a ledger or a role that has to do with anything voting or donating to political parties, I would make sure your name's not on it. I would check and see if your name's on it and then just see why. Like, for instance, they were getting women to vote by their maiden name. They were voting under their maiden name. So even if you voted under your current name, you still voted, or they used your maiden name to vote for you as well. So you voted twice.
When they were doing the mail-in ballots during COVID for the 2020 elections, I got a ballot out in North Carolina, and I haven't lived there in over 10 years. My dad was like, hey, you got a ballot here, which I'm not registered in that state. So it's just odd. I don't know.
Registered for the state of Illinois in probably 2004. And I got a text message in 2020 asking if I was going to vote. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to vote. Don't you do it, motherfuckers. Because they were going to vote for me in Illinois, even though I was going to vote in Texas. I was registered to vote here.
And they probably do use that data, like the people who say, no, I have no interest in voting. Oh, well, we can use their name to, harvest the ballot. And, he'll never check the voter rolls. And, he'll never know that a vote was cast in his name.
They probably still use my name. I never checked, but that would be really interesting to find that out.
So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on CNN just now, quote, the crime wave is within the Republican Party. For the last decade, Republicans have been attacking Democrats as being soft on crime, but it is they who are pardoning the real criminals, undermining the DOJ and FBI, and most egregiously trying to pretend that the American judiciary is corrupt and not one of the most respected on the planet. Thank you, of course, it's this fucker. Anyways, let's watch this.
Crime waves and Republicans talking about crime waves across the country. The crime wave is within the Republican Party. For all of their talk of a crime wave and Republicans talking about crime waves across the country, the crime.
Oh, sorry about that. That was a quick clip. But yeah, total bullshit. She probably linked it to the insurrection or something like that, or some.
Here's my thing. She's not. That's the annoying part, is that she's kind of not wrong. I mean, definitely, most likely, crime waves about in the Republican Party. Sure, I mean, everybody's on the take, as they say. But yeah. I mean, total deflection at the same time. It's like look at their shit, because don't look at ours.
Well, plus just statistically, there's more crime. You could say, well, there's more people, but there's more violent crime per capita, like per 100 or something like that, in democratically controlled cities than anywhere else. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense too. That it's not so much that they're Democrats as that it's just having all those people packed into a smaller space.
So
crime rate.
We got a double banger of AOC. You ready for this? So their plan now is to go after the Supreme Court, because they know that this whole indictment is probably going to be appealed up to that level. So they're just trying to take out a Republican justice via form of, I think it was a sexual allegation. But y'all just check it out. Just be aware.
Mentioned before, which is that Justice Clarence Thomas, you want him to be impeached after a new ProPublica report this week revealed that he accepted luxury vacations from a Republican billionaire donor without disclosing them. Thomas is now defending.
So it's even more bullshit. Like, he just accepted a trip that was financed by apparently a Republican donor.
Defending himself. And here's what he's saying. He's saying, quote, early in my tenure at the court, I sought guidance from my colleagues and others in the judiciary and was advised that this sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends who did not have business before the court was reportable. Was not reportable, rather.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, CNN was not reportable.
What is your response?
I think that his own statement contradicts many of the facts on the ground and also raises in other ways even more serious questions. Later on in his statement, he stated that the reason and the rationale for this exemption was personal hospitality from an old friend. And he said himself in his statement, a friend of 25 years. Justice Thomas has been on the court for 30 years. And so to say what he is admitting in his statement in an attempt to defend himself is that he began this relationship with a billionaire and receiving these sorts of gifts as after he was appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States.
He didn't contradict himself. He said that he asked the court, his colleagues, whether something like this was reportable or not, and they advised him that he didn't have to report. The Supreme Court itself.
Right.
And she's trying to say that, well, his comment or his statement contradicts the truth because he's saying that this happened before he was in the Supreme Court, when literally he said no. As it came up, I asked other members of the court, is this reportable or not? So, like, what is she even talking about? If that statement, that last statement they just had up, is what she was referring to, like, do you understand what's going on here?
No, I really don't. But that's how you know it's real AOC.
I don't think I could take anymore. It was only halfway over, but y'all get the gist of it.
Make sure you buy her $40 sweaters on her website. Fucking cunt. What is her deal, man? Why is she just gonna make up stuff to try to get a Supreme Court justice? I mean, what's the penalties here?
Well, they've been targeting the Supreme Court, ever since Trump got his appointments. Like, everyone who got nominated was some kind of scandal that they tried to push, which, no evidence of, anything. It started with Kavanaugh, then the second one. Now they're going after him. Yeah. But the Justice Department's not weaponized.
For real.
Anyways, y'all check this out. So at the UFC event this past week.
Talk about a party, man.
Right. So Trump, Dana White, Kid Rock, and Mike Tyson.
Dude, that's a party. That's a party. That's how you know you're having fun.
That would be different. Not gonna lie. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. So, I mean, not everybody in the entertainment world is, up in arms against Trump. People need to be aware of that. Like, you may just be surrounding yourself or inside of some type of echo chamber where you think Trump supporters don't exist, or when you assume that they do exist, you think that there's some, radical racist group of people, when no, we're just people trying to, like, live and get by, and we don't give a shit what you do. Just, like, leave us alone with it, like,
yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
I wouldn't want to sit next to Mike Tyson.
You would want to sit next to him?
I wouldn't want to sit next to Mike Tyson.
No.
I'd wear earmuffs if I did.
Let's watch him, his arrival. I heard about this. I haven't seen any of these videos yet. They're playing Kid Rock's Cowboy. Shit, I don't know. That was pretty hyped.
What are tickets like? What do those cost? What do you think those cost? Like, it's like $1,000 for nosebleeds.
Oh, they're high. I don't know. I know just to order it's like $100, some shit like that, off pay-per-view.
Man, I'd love to go to an event like that. But the video, it said, the crowd goes crazy when Trump walks in, and honestly, just saying, maybe it was the recording equipment, but it didn't go that crazy. I didn't notice a noticeable
You're right.
uptick of cheers.
There was, I will say, I didn't hear any boos. I'm sure there was a few people booing there. I mean, somebody like Trump's pretty polarizing. But, Joe Biden's an idiot. Let's watch this clip from Joe Rogan highlighting that fact. At this point, put Kamala in it.
You're skipping the crowd chant.
Did I? Yeah. I thought I just played that one. My bad. Hold on. Oh, yeah, you're right. I did. Holy shit.
Give them the full experience.
Hold on. Let's check it out. Oh, I get it now. You're being sarcastic. It sounds pretty loud, dude. That's USA chants.
Yeah. That was loud. When he first walked in, it's just, like I said, it's probably the recording equipment, but the crowd, it didn't seem like the crowd went that crazy, much more crazy than they were.
And also, it was just up on that screen, so maybe people hadn't noticed yet.
Yeah.
If he was just walking in, I don't know.
This thing, I'm not, by no means am I saying that they didn't care that he was there. But most people would lose their shit if Donald Trump walked in the room, whether you like him or not. That's Donald Trump for you.
Yeah, the same thing wouldn't happen for Biden, and everybody knows it. Let's check out. This is Rogan's podcast. Let's see what he's talking about.
It used to be that the media was the primary place that people would go to find out what's going on in the world. But now the media conveniently leaves out anything that it doesn't want to be at the front and center in terms of things that people concentrate on and talk about. All it is like January 6th. January 6th. Did you see what they did? January 6th. Trump is coming back, but January 6th looms large. How about the fact that the guy who's the president right now can't form a fucking sentence? He makes up words and stumbles through things, and no one says a goddamn thing about it.
He ain't lying.
Wow. He's not lying. He said that out loud in front of millions of people. And yet we still sit here and suffer through it.
I think the normal people out there are to the point now where, offending people is out the window. It's at this point, wake the fuck up.
Yeah. You would think, but we can go back and read that comment from that last video if you want.
Yeah, there's always a few out there though,
Yeah, I know.
Life's weird like that. Let's see.
Hollywood
is weird.
Is this a movie scene? What do you think about this?
Let's check it out. Oh no, I saw this. This happened.
What happened? That's a sheriff's helicopter? These are sheriff department.
Okay, so what happened in this story? The way this Twitter account, and he's probably just saying what's going on, happening now. Hollywood is weird. So there was a standoff. There was a shooter inside of an apartment who was holding this individual hostage, and I don't think anybody was killed, but this is the SWAT team showing up on scene.
In style.
So a woman got shot is what this lady is saying behind the camera. In the apartment right there.
Very much so.
Yeah, if you get this one, you punch in LA Sheriff. That's the sheriff.
We got sheriff here, sheriff there, and KTLA 5 right there.
They've got
This goes all the way across the USA and.
So yeah, I heard that story. I didn't see how it ended though. I just saw it as it was breaking. I think it was a Rawls alert.
Well, I've never seen a helicopter on a city road before, so that's crazy that they did that.
Yeah, me either. Balloons are bad, apparently. I've been saying it, y'all. Balloon Fest 86 in Cleveland set a world record by releasing almost 1.5 million balloons, but it was a disaster, causing serious problems to traffic, aviation, and interfering with boaters, with 2 boaters rescue operations. Holy shit.
Fucking idiots.
What you're seeing is one.
I'm sorry, what?
It's just the idiots in the 80s didn't know what they were doing with the balloons.
That looks crazy. Look at this.
1.5 million balloons being let go at once. What seemed like a fun world record attempt turned into a horrible disaster that killed people. Balloon Fest 86 was a fundraising stunt.
Jesus Christ.
Taking place in Cleveland, Ohio. The goal of the event was to raise funds for the United Way charity. They wanted to break the world record for the biggest simultaneous balloon launch to garner attention. So they created a large net structure the size of a city block to contain the balloon.
How have I never seen this?
And got more than 2,500 volunteers to fill up the balloons. At first, it was a beautiful sight to see, but a cold front combined with rain caused the balloons to descend while still inflated. This sight distracted motorists, causing numerous car accidents in the surrounding Cleveland area. Streets and waterways were clogged with the decorations, and the local airport was forced to shut down for half an hour. And worst of all, the balloons impacted the search for 2 missing fishermen on Lake Erie. The balloons made it impossible to look for their orange life jackets, and on September 29th, the men's bodies washed ashore. What you're seeing.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, so sometimes art gets a little carried away, right? I mean, like, we don't think about the repercussions of the shit that we do. We think it's cool. It'll be a good idea. No, trust me, hold my beer. And the next thing you know, you've got millions of balloons obstructing traffic and murdering fishermen. So just be careful.
Well, apparently, Malcolm X tried to warn us about something.
No,
Let's check this.
People. This is a warning for the black people.
Oh.
We can extrapolate to our own lives, though.
Okay. All right, let's check it out.
The white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
And you ain't black.
But the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Okay, then.
So, look out for that white liberal, you black folk. No, wait, it's too late. He's already upon us. And he's not just targeting you, he's targeting us too, so. We should have also heeded this warning. We didn't know. We just didn't know. Let's all agree we didn't know. Let's work together, try to figure our way out of this. Yeah?
Yeah. Sounds like a plan to me. So, breaking, Greg Abbott vows to pardon Sergeant Daniel Perry after murder conviction in the death of a BLM rioter. So, this is a crazy story. Jay, you want to break this down? Or you want me to just read?
A cop shot a BLM rioter, probably with what we would consider under reasonable circumstances. However, this was BLM riot, so naturally the courts came down hard on the cop and did not come down at all on the protesters, as it goes. And
okay.
This cop's been caught in the crosshairs, and apparently Abbott is stepping up to, he's going to, what do you call it?
Well, yeah, and he deserves a pardon, and I'll tell you why. So let me just read it and see how this article covers it, because this whole fucking story is crazy. On Saturday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said that he is working to pardon Daniel Perry The former Army sergeant found guilty of murder on Friday for the shooting of Garrett Foster during a 2020 Black Lives Matter protest. Greg Abbott tweeted, he says, "I'm working as swiftly as Texas law allows regarding the pardon of Sergeant Perry. Ground laws of self-defense that cannot be nullified by a jury or a progressive district attorney, unlike the president or some other states. The Texas Constitution limits the governor's pardon authority to only act on the recommendation by the Board of Pardons and Parole. Texas law does allow the governor to request the Board of Pardons and Paroles to determine if a person should be granted a pardon. I have made that request and instruction the board to expedite its review. I look forward to improving the board's pardon for recommendation as soon as it hits my desk." So what happened here, and I believe, he was driving Uber at the time, so he was working his part-time job. His car was surrounded. One dude pointed an AR-15 at his face, and he killed him. Let's watch it. So here's where the incident starts. This is the gentleman's car here. Right, and you can go find the still images. I'm not going to find it in this. I will if it's easy. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the still image of the dude drawing his AR on the guy. And it's somewhere in here. It's the image on the right. So the gentleman at the rear of the car right now, you can barely see him, but he's got an AR-15. He walks up, and it's so hard to see. But like I said, you can find the still images out there where you can clearly see the gun and everything. So basically, this guy felt in fear of his life and drew his weapon in self-defense after his car was totally surrounded, and they were probably trying to pull him out of the car and all kind of crazy shit like they do, you know. And he shot him.
Oh, hey, we got 40 people watching on Rumble. If you would hit the like button, we'd appreciate it. It's not going to solve that situation. I don't know. You just like, I'm all for guns. I'm all for protests. I'm not for taking guns to protest at all, nor am I for pointing them at people. You're such an idiot if you point your weapon at anybody for any reason except because you need to fire it at them.
Yeah, and that's a clear threat. Or it could be interpreted as a threat. So the gentleman had every right to defend himself. And certain, laws are different in various states, but you're allowed to shoot at any moment you feel like your life is in danger by another individual. So you have the right to that self-defense, and it's limited. That law is limited depending on what state you're in.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to forfeit your life because somebody else is having a mood swing or throwing a tantrum.
Right. For instance, where was it, New Jersey or some shit like that, where they have you have to retreat. You have a retreat law. So
yeah.
There are no guns. If someone breaks into your house and you're in the upstairs bedroom,
throw yourself off.
Yeah.
Fall to your death. You only break your ankles, but you can crawl away after that. So it's reasonable. Reasonably so.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Ugh. Guys, this is gonna make your skin crawl. We didn't get the video. There is video of this, and we're not gonna play it here, but he makes read it.
Look, and I'll be honest. I go through a lot of these articles before the show with Jay, and I was like, Jay, come on. Like, is he just kissing him like a little playful thing? He's like, no, you have to see the video. He tells the kid, and look the video up for yourself. Like he said, we're not going to fucking play it. But he literally tells this kid in English, suck on my tongue, sticks his tongue out, and holds his tongue out for this kid.
Goes in the video.
Yeah, so Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, has been caught on video kissing a young boy on the lips at a Buddhist event and telling him, quote, "Suck my tongue." This Twitter account said, "Jesus fucking Christ." Yeah. Yeah.
Suck my tongue. That is such a weird thing to say to anybody, let alone a kid, Why, you're holding him on your lap in front of a, what is this? Some kind of religious ceremony that they're at? Again, the video
weird shit.
Puts it into context, but the context doesn't make it any better than what we're saying it is.
Jay, show me the video. All true. All happened. And then the crowd was like clapping and laughing as if this was like a good thing to witness. No, it's not. It's creepy. It's creepy.
The look that the Dalai Lama had on his face after he kissed the kid was creepy in itself, but then him rebuttaling with the "suck my tongue" situation. I mean, what? And this is the Dalai Lama, folks. What is it? He's supposed to be a religious leader,
right? Or like at least a role model. I don't know what I was asking Jay. Like, what is his like role? I don't even know. He said like a philosopher. We're two idiots. Like, I don't know what he does over there, but I know. I mean, I know of him. It's still weird.
It involves getting his tongue sucked. What? He's a card-carrying kid dealer, if you ask me. That is disturbing as fuck.
Just to show, like, I'm normally trying to play devil's advocate with this stuff. Jenny said, "I just watched." See, it's fucking weird. I said, well, maybe this is a cultural thing, and they do this over in India. Look, if that's the case, that's fucking weird too.
Yeah,
like,
it's not a culture you want to be a part of.
Anyways, this is probably one of the most eerie videos that I've seen in a while. I'm sure y'all heard about the blogger out in Russia who was killed in an assassination at a restaurant. This whole thing is weird, man. So for those of y'all who don't know, he's a blogger out in Russia. He was assassinated recently at a restaurant, and pretty much everybody you see right now are probably dead.
We played that video like a week or two ago.
Right.
But from the outside.
So this whole restaurant explodes, and someone snuck the bomb in via this award that they handed off to this reporter. This shit is crazy. Let's watch the video.
Настя, иди сюда садись. Садись сюда. Или вот сюда, куда ты хочешь. Давай в кресло садись. Да.
She was trying to leave, by the way. Watch her body language.
Watch who?
The lady in the trench coat started over. Watch how she's trying to leave, and he asks her to come and sit next to him, and then she gets real nervous and he starts doing like this as he's messing with the package. She's the one that handed him the package. She knows what's in it.
Wow. Well, so it's the guy in the black shirt is the blogger.
Yeah.
And as you can see, he's opening the box, and the box contains this statue, which is some form of explosive device.
Давай, ладно. Вот. Просто, золотой. Рабочая история. Да, все, золотой ладно. Отлично. Ну, ты знаешь, слава богу, я гораздо красивее. Да, ну тут просто кубики.
And then there's an explosion.
There's another angle to that. But yeah, did you see how she held her hands out? Like, stop. Like she got real nervous.
Yeah. So I had this other article pulled up. If I can find this right now, that would be ideal. But okay, so they interviewed one of these, I believe he was a general in charge of Ukrainian troops out in Bakhmut. And this is from USA Today. But so Prigozhin, I'm not going to pull the article up, but just listen. So a frequent critic of Russian military defense who had complained of not getting enough resources, was even trolled by the Ukrainian military this week after claiming his fighters planted a Russian flag in Bakhmut, which we covered, building that was already destroyed. He was quoted as saying, Prigozhin probably goes to Bakhmut because it's not safe for him in St. Petersburg right now. There you see restaurants explode, end quote. Armed Forces spokesman Serhiy Shervatyi said, so he sets flags on buildings that have been since physically ceased to exist. What a fucked up thing to say, though. Basically saying that they were behind it and you're not even safe in St. Petersburg now because apparently restaurants explode. Like in a joking way, killing these civilians out there like that. Did you add the video with him with the cocaine?
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, true.
No. Well, the video of the cocaine on his desk?
Right.
No, I'm pretty sure that's verified.
It looked real to me.
What
I don't
it
know.
is, whether is it cocaine or something else that's white?
Dude, I don't know anything else that you would have on a table like this. This next video, let's see. This is just another, I guess, angle from the explosion.
Yeah, it's a closer view, but it actually shows the explosion, but it blurs it out.
Да, вот вы. Сейчас, секунду. Добрый день, Владимир. Меня зовут Андрей. У меня два вопроса. Первый, касающийся мостов. Нам долго объясняли, что их невозможно разрушить, потому что калибры их не берут. Авиационные бомбы, соответственно, мы не можем запустить, потому что ПВО не подавлено. Сейчас появилась вот с недели назад информация...
Jesus Christ.
Right.
Holy shit.
I mean, it's like an IED going off or something. It's just 1 minute, everything's one way, and the next minute, explosion.
It's a crazy world we live in. That was a very weird way to do that. You know? They wanted that to be seen. Here's the video, the cafe view. You can see the explosion from the outside. Let's check this out. Hold on. All right, so here's the restaurant here. Just keep an eye there. Boom.
That is a lot of force.
Yeah, let's watch it again. Holy shit.
Everybody in that place got a taste of that.
Oh, yeah. How many people died? Do we know?
Wow.
I forgot.
I haven't seen any news articles or anything about it. I just keep finding videos.
Well, you want to cover the palate cleansers? I feel like that you're good at this part. Anyways, there's your news, folks. It's wonderful. I wish we had something good to report.
Yeah, let's get some feel goods in and we'll get out of here. How about that? Happy Sunday. Happy Easter. Happy like button.
Happy Easter.
The like button is always happy when you click it. You can hit the dislike button as well. Those, they do the same. Interaction's nice. We like it. Here's a baby bird. Oh. And also, ew.
It's cute, Jay. Stop.
Their heads are so big.
They do look like little dinosaurs, though.
Yeah, they do. I wonder what kind of bird that is. Oh, it's an eagle. So that's cool. What is this?
What else
People
we got?
Walmart Astroglide Bud Light.
This was just funny. I saw this. Whoever did this, you're a fucking legend.
Somebody at Walmart got jokes. Astroglide slipped into pleasure, water-based Bud Light. That's funny. That's funny.
I thought it was clever.
This that's the guy nominated for NCAA Woman of the Year, celebrated by ESPN during Women's History Month. Biological woman canceled, assaulted, threatened, kept hostage. So, and here's my thing. As a chauvinist, I'm all for this because women have been getting up in their their dues a little too long, and these guys coming in and knocking them back down out of their fields and putting them back in the kitchen, I'm all for this. I say go for
What
it.
the fuck?
I'm mid unite. Let's take over. We've pushed ourselves as far as we can competing with each other. It's time to take over the other sexes. We're coming for you all. All right. So I'm all for this biological man destroying these women swimmers because really they need to be barefoot and pregnant and not worried about the swimming life. And this puts them in their place. That's the way I feel about it.
I don't even know what to say other than they are writing themselves off. So I guess if I were to be a spokesperson for women right now, I would say y'all should probably rise up against the trans community competing in your sports events, or just prepare for more of this until we do wake up.
Compete in other things like making sandwiches.
God damn. Jay said that, not me.
Oh, the views expressed here expressly represent the views of the Erroneous Podcast, the Erroneous Network, and the individuals hosting. Hey, breaking now, police and correctional officers are asking the public for assistance after a notoriously dangerous criminal escaped from a maximum security prison in early morning hours. This kitten's getting loose, y'all.
Cute.
Little cute's overload there.
I'll give it to it. Like, I'm a dog person, but that was cute.
When it comes to cats, the fluffier the better. Video, another day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Just another day, folks. What we got? I can't see. Hey, share your screen.
No. This is just for me. Just kidding. Once you see, you're going to understand why that's gross. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Another day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
What the fuck?
Walk of shame. About 5 a.m. Going to the
Why, though? Why? Why is this happening?
I've never been in this position. Admittedly,
Right?
I wouldn't pick those heels with that under.
Oh, shit. They said, you all right? She flipped him the bird.
You okay, man?
You know,
Huh?
it was a rough night because you went to the Dollar General, not the Walmart.
Jesus Christ.
Now, is he going for Wonder Woman, or is that just coincidental that it's the stars and stripes on his panties there?
Dude is out there not giving a fuck.
Don't fat shame. Did he pick up a basket? Yeah, he did.
Yep. Where's his wallet? Never mind.
Oh, okay. The world we're living in, folks.
I don't even know what to say.
Smile and nod. Hey, you want to see an idiot? You want to see an idiot do a stupid thing?
Oh,
This
dude,
is
I
not
had
what-
to watch this one. I couldn't not click on this.
All right. This is the king of the fucking jungle. He's about to show you why.
And he's obviously pissed. Why would you stick your hand in there? You're muted.
No, I'm not. I'm just speechless.
Look at my serious.
Oh, fuck! Howdy, pull. Pulling of it. Worst. Cut it off. So
if you can pause it at the right spot, you can see like his flesh separating from his skin. Like you see something fly when he pulls away.
Oh,
There it is!
No!
Maybe
Oh
that's
God!
saliva. I don't know, from the
I want
lion.
that to be flesh.
Oh,
Guy. Who does this to a caged animal, anyways? But like a lion, you're asking for it.
oh.
Look at the stretch on that. That's like mozzarella cheese.
I feel like that his adrenaline was like in full force. He didn't feel it, like because he was pulling. You know,
He's like, I know something's wrong. I just don't know what. There's a lion
I
around.
guess your natural reaction would be to pull away with something like that, but it's also a lion's jowls. Like you're not getting out of there.
Okay. That's
Damn.
This I find a little disturbing. It might even be fake. Let's find out. This one's labeled parkour. Wait.
Wait, they don't die, do they?
No. Not as far as I
Okay.
know. These are children, though, right?
It looks like it to me.
Parkour.
Hell no.
I did some pretty insane stuff as a child. That's a 12-story building.
Yeah, this is next level.
And how do you get back? And how did they get there to begin with? I have so many. Oh, well, he's going to show us. Wow. Oh, no. Okay, he's going back. I thought the little one was going to jump.
That is crazy.
I hope somebody at least called the cops. Don't let your kids do that. Don't do that yourselves. Did you hear about the guy that was climbing the buildings during the Super Bowl? He was doing it for abortion, or for what do they call it? Right to live or whatever. He had a cause. The cops at the last time he did it stopped him, and they said they were stopping him because he was doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him finish climbing the building.
I can't keep up with all the protests. Only one I'm currently supporting is the orcas' freedom. That's just me, though.
I'm down for freeing Willie.
Yeah, that's all I have for tonight, though. I don't even know what to say. That was a crazy episode. That was a lot of shit we just covered.
Record time. Guess we cut out all the small talk. Am I right? Hey, we got 30 people watching right now. We're about to end the broadcast. If you hit the like button, we'd really, really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. But yeah, that's all I've got too. Happy Sunday and happy Easter to everybody. May all your Easter dreams come true. I hope they were excellent.
Right. And stay positive out there.
Yeah.
I guess things could turn around.
Be like that baby bird.
Right.
Confused.
But until then, we'll just keep you updated. I guess.
Until next time, Tuesdays and Thursdays are normal broadcast hours. That'll be 10 p.m. Hit the like button
Central.
on your way out. Yeah, that's Central Time. Hit the like button on your way out. The follow button, if you haven't followed us, you'd love to follow us because we come out with content like this all of the time, 3 times a week, to be exact. But yes, until next time.
The Erroneous Podcast. Podcast.